Yes, we're letting that anticipation build up. This is all by design. This is not that we're a freaking mess.
We're fashionably late as always.
This is totally by design.
This is to make people who were going to be late feel better that they were actually on time.
Cue the cat.
Let's do it.
What is up, State War 420, the Game Cat, Meow, Toasted Den, Kyle PSVR, We're Gaming, Johnny Right Pop the Stray Cat, Joshua Taylor, Wink Rogers, Gyson, fist bump to you, a Hobbit, Game Cat, oh, little Hobbit.
Who's a Hobbit? He's a Hobbit.
Creator Power 666, Shockin' Nerdy, Word Cats, Colt 45, Rayman 88, aka Super Tramp Yugi, David Wen, hello. Delirium Drew, the Game Cat, space shooter game, the Game Cat. Damn it, man, that's a hard one to say, but I like it because it's got spaceship stuff in it.
And it's a challenge. AJ likes a challenge.
Enderman 2007, Nick Mulo, and Exley. Howdy. What is up, y'all?
Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah. But that cat just keeps getting closer and closer, man. You know what that means? The show's going to start any second now.
Oh, yeah. Before the Mikey Sensei, Game Cat extraordinaire. Hope you guys are ready.
Because we're not.
Because we're never ready. Do I skip the ad? Sure, if you want to. Unless, if you feel like it, do as you please.
Yeah, do what you want, man. You know, you can support us and love us, or you can kick us in the ass.
Yep.
At this point, I don't really care.
We are not forcing you to do anything. Your only objective or rule that we have is to have a good time, okay? That's it.
And we're here to set out to ruin that. What's up, everybody? I'm Bryan Paul from this channel right here with that Parole, and joining me this week on PSVR GamesCast Live in the far, far corner over there, it's AJ from PSVR Underground and this channel right here. AJ, you've been a streaming machine. I've been seeing you do all sorts of streaming stuff over on PSVR Underground. I saw you play stuff, and then I saw you play more stuff, and then and I was like, man, I should watch this eventually because he's my friend. And then I'm a bad friend because I never watch it. And in the middle right here is Dave from Dave Station VR. David, I haven't been keeping up on your channel as much. All my notifications are off, and I haven't stopped by.
Yeah, it's all good.
But I hope you're excited because in less than 24 hours, you're both going to be here in this mess that I call a home.
Yeah.
And for that, I feel awful. I'm so sorry.
Real quick, too. There we go.
What you got to tell me what that was because my chat is not up because I broke the chat.
We got a shout out to Mako XL with the $2 donation. Says shots. I can't do it right now, Mako.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, I wish I had one. I really wish I had
I thought
one.
we were traveling to some foreign country and we all need to get immunized. Immunized? That's not the right word.
Yeah, that's right. Immunized.
Immunized. Oh, I just put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Hey, and this chat is not working here, so AJ, why don't you sing a song and keep everyone entertained while I fix the screen?
Oh man. Well, that'll be easy to do.
Thailand.
There we go.
We got another one from Mako XL.
With another
$6.66.
There we go. Now the chat's up and running. Woo! Thank you so much. Oh, we got a 666.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Halloween shots.
That's awesome.
Jello shots. You gonna have some pumpkin Jello shots, Mako?
Am I gonna order liquor during this show and take shots for Mako? I might.
I'm sure he would love that.
All right, Mako.
I think you should. And plus, you're traveling tomorrow, and the only way to travel is hungover. It's the only way I ever traveled.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't gone on vacation in 6 years. Right on. So what we do here every single week on PSVR GamesCast Live is we hang out, we talk about video games, only PSVR games, unless Dave feels like talking about, Quest and Switch stuff, but we give him a little bit of leeway if he wants to do that, because those things are fun too. But yeah, mostly PlayStation VR. And I think we should get a little housekeeping out of the way first. The reason these two guys are going to be here in my neck of the woods, there's no woods out there, and there's a lot of split necks, so I wouldn't call it neck or woods, is because we're doing... the first official Game Cat meetup 2019 at Six Flags New England. That's this Saturday, the 19th. Boy, I just maxed out those levels. And it's going to be at Six Flags New England. It's going to be awesome. Even if you haven't decided to come yet, you can still come. Dez put a form out there for people who are like organized like Dez, but the rest of us were just flying by the seat of our pants. So if you decide you want to show up to the Game Cat meetup, I will tell you right now, there are new wristbands. You see that adorable little paw on my wristband? It's so adorable.
Nice.
The new
Looking
wristbands
good.
have arrived. I'm going to have a ton of them for anyone who shows up. That'll certainly be worth the entrance to the park fee, which is exorbitant.
I put a picture of mine in the Discord because it's so scuffed and messed up. I'm wearing this thing a lot.
I saw my mom today, and she had the same problem with hers. I wear mine in the shower, and I never took it off for a year.
So you just give us the cheap ones, the ones that we have to pay for. I get it.
Oh yeah, I guess, right? I guess mine withstood the test of time somehow, and for no apparent
it
reason.
pays for the nice ones that you get to keep.
Yeah, mine's like laminated. It's like waterproof, right? It's actually made by Timex or Rolex. Anyway, let's get real housekeeping out of the way. The point is that you got to make sure you subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Dave Station VR, subscribe to PSVR Underground, and of course, hit us up on Patreon.com/withoutparole.
Games
for just $1 or more every single month because you guys are the only reason this channel is still running.
Games.
I guess you started drinking, huh?
Without Parole
No.
Games. Patreon.com/without Parole Games.
Yeah, we are running almost exclusively on Patreon support these days. So thank you guys very, very much for your support. We love you all and appreciate you. And of course, you guys appreciate people in the comments tipping. If I am stuttering and I'm all over the place because I got 2 hours of sleep last night, I've had a really busy couple of days. Hopefully everyone is enjoying that top 10 horror game list that is on the channel. I think some of the choices are pretty obvious, but I think some of them are pretty awesome. I mean, they're all awesome, but there's a couple surprises in there is what I meant to say. What is that?
That was Frankenstein because we got another shout out to Mako XL. Says shot money for Dave. He's got you covered, Dave.
Wow. When you're here, apparently Mako, I gotta buy shots for you from Mako.
Yes.
All right.
Buy me some too.
I don't see that from Mako. I don't know. Mako said for Dave. All right, you guys. Enough housekeeping. Let's dive into this thing. Talk to me.
I mean,
good news.
As you guys know, there's probably nothing going on right now. So good night, everybody. No,
there's nothing going on.
There's a ton to talk about. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And the first thing is Contagion VR. Basically just announced on Twitter. They didn't announce it, but they said on Twitter that they have resubmitted their certification to have the game, come to the PlayStation Store. Now we know that they said last month that they were hoping for the end of September that their game would be complete, be certified, everything, so that they can release it. And man, we need this game so bad right now. It is October. We've had one mediocre horror game, and that was, of course, No Way Out. And Carly and the Reaper Man was pretty decent, but that's like a Halloween theme. That's a nice one. So go try that instead if you really need your fix, or you can go check out the sale that's going on right now. But anyways, they are pending approval, and they are hoping to hear something by tomorrow. And who knows? We could maybe see it next week. Let us know in the chat. You guys want Contagion or not?
The answer overwhelmily is yes.
Yeah, I think yes.
Sure
I would say yeah.
I mean, unless people played it on PC already, because I know, this certainly isn't like a AAA game. It's not like crazy polished or whatever. It looks like a nice alternative to Arizona Sunshine. It's not. I don't think this thing's gonna blow anyone away.
This is my tree world!
Another one from Mako.
Uh-oh.
$10. He's opening up the wallet like crazy tonight. Mako, you're wild. Shots for Dave and AJ. Bryan doesn't drink, so buy a water. That's going to go to coffee, I think, most likely. Oh my god, and another one.
This is my tree plate!
Killicell 7777. $20. No message,
Whoa.
but if you say something in a minute, we'll say it.
I got the next sound effect. Sound effect queued. But yeah, I agree with you, Bryan. I think everybody should be starving for a new horror game, a new, unless you, like I mentioned before, there's some great games on sale right now. If you haven't yet, Five Nights at Freddy's is on sale. Home Sweet Home, a Thai-inspired horror game. If you like movies like Ringu or the Ringu, or what is it called in America? The Ring.
The Ring.
Yeah.
I don't know why. How do I know the Japanese version?
I mean, it's just like the same word. So,
it's wildly different from the Japanese original.
Totally different. Also, the Persistence, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then we got a real quick shout out from Hugh Guyver's cousin.
No, Matt Guyver's cousin. This is Hugh Guyver. Okay, I don't know what that was. Was that a car revving its engine?
That was a werewolf. And he says, just quickly stopping by to donate. He said, just quickly stopping in to donate to the Thanks for the Kick-Ass Awards show / Warzone compensation. We need that very badly because I paid for that too.
Yeah.
And the PSVR without parole pizza fund. Meow, meow. Thank you so much, you Guyver. We got another one. Hold on. Ooh.
Jesus Christ. That was...
These are from the American Werewolf in London, I think. And then a Hobbit with the $5 donation saying, another 15 pounds, that would be dark. We'll get pizza. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Thank you guys so much, man. It really means more to us.
If you guys keep donating like this, we're never going to be able to start the show.
So keep it up, man. I got to break even on this hotel charge.
Yeah, we don't. For sure. Yeah.
But check it out. One more thing that we didn't mention about October month that we got was we also get the Damned, Arizona Sunshine, the Damned. What?
You're gonna have to wait, Brian.
I will wait, man. I can.
Another 20 from Mako Excel. He says, "Keep it up, people.
Thank you.
You
Mako.
are getting this ball rolling, and you're keeping it rolling almost single-handedly. That's insane. Thank you, Mako."
Yeah, really appreciate you guys. It's obviously it's a ton of time and money to keep this thing running. I used to make way more money waiting tables, but this is obviously more fun, and this is my dream, and you guys are helping make it happen. So thank you very, very much, cats. We love you all.
Love you guys.
All right, yeah. So don't forget, if you're an Arizona Sunshine fan, for $5 more, another hour and a half, 2 hours of content with that. If you're better than I am, because I definitely spent the first half hour of that game getting my butt kicked because I was trying to conserve ammo. I was playing it like a survival horror shooter, and I was like, nope, that's not the way to play this at all. You can feel free to waste ammo, just like blast away.
Yeah, it's dual wield. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
you can find it. There's boxes everywhere.
Yeah, it's a run and gun shooter. But this looks like more like traditional survival horror, but of course it's got like some guns and stuff too. So it would be really nice. I'm a little disappointed in the lack of scary games. I was hoping for Contagion. I was hoping for Foley Dear Father.
Yeah.
So anybody needs to come through. All we've gotten this month is, like you said, 3 things so far. 2 of them are okay. Carly and the Reaper Man was good. And then, the Arizona Sunshine DLC was pretty good for $5. The No Way Out, you kind of liked it. You just didn't think, but it's a $20 game. So
yeah, it's like if for $7, I would be like, hey, this was kind of a fun little scary romp. I'd be down for that. But for $20, it's fucking ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah, it is. It was $40 at launch, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
Wait. I thought you said No Way Out.
Yeah, No Way Out.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking about Arizona Sunshine. My bad.
And $40 at launch for Arizona Sunshine's a ripoff too. That game is awesome for $16 when it's on sale, but don't pay more than like $16, $20, that range.
Yeah, and best bet right now is to pick up stuff from the sale going on right now. Persistence, must have. Home Sweet Home, must have. Five Nights at Freddy's, mostly must have, unless you're just not scared by that. Then.
And if you start exploring other regions, man, like Chair in the Room is on sale in Australia. I think like some of the European territories too. So like if you search enough and you don't mind taking some time to create some new accounts. I know Australia is like ridiculously overpriced by American standards, but you can definitely search around and find some good deals. Do we before we really get started? I mean, we're kind of in the horror game territory. Do we want to discuss that top 10 list at all?
I'm not really prepared for it. I don't know.
Right. I will say I'm thrilled that it's finally out because it was something that we promised everybody we were going to do. AJ and I came up with the list together. We have like 30 games or something, and we slowly had to check each one off. It was just it was so difficult to say, well, why are we going to keep this game and not have this game, and why this game? And so it should have been a live show because the conversation was that long and in depth, coming up with the 10 games that was on it. So thank you, AJ, for spending time with me and helping with the script and obviously with some of the visual effects as well. That was a fun video to make.
What I do want to see is we won't go way into it, but I do want to see the chat who watched the video. Thank you guys for all the support on that video earlier. Let me know, did you guys like the list? Did you disagree with anything on the list? What were your favorites from the list? Some that you want to maybe grab now because of the list? Let us know in the chat, please. That would be awesome.
And do you have any favorites that didn't make it? That's always my question. I was like, I want to know like where you think we're wrong. I want to hear, you're like, how come this didn't make it? A suggestion.
Well, Immortal Legacy got an honorable mention, which was cool. I saw somebody in the comments say Don't Knock Twice, and I said it's basically the same thing as Exorcist, which it's cool, but it's got so many bugs. It's like 50-50 chance of actually enjoying it. So that was... I do like,
I think when Don't Knock Twice is on sale, and it very frequently is for like $6, roll the dice, give it a shot. Know that's a little janky, but if you like, for some scares, it's definitely worth it. Just like Immortal Legacy... it's the kind of game where you want to like every single thing that you pick up, just like Chair in a Room as well. Everything you pick up, fucking read it, because reading is half of that story. It's good stuff.
Reading is half the battle.
it's not G.I. Joe. Right on.
What kind of cat is this going to be? Is that even a cat? Hard to tell.
A cobra cat?
Cobra cat.
It rhymes with cats.
Bats, spooky sounds. Here's what we're doing. Spooky sounds.
Is that for a triangulator? Is that
yes, it is.
You
want to read this one?
Oh, absolutely. Funny. I haven't been reading any of them. Thank you so much for the $9.99 tip. He says, appreciate you guys. Keep giving us great content. Come out to Cali soon. Cheers, guys. Meow.
Got it. What part of Cali?
Yeah, I'm not going to Southern California, man.
Let's do this.
If you're like really like San Diego's just too damn warm for me. It's like summer all year round there. But man, if like the San Francisco area, like sign me up, man. I'm a big fan.
So I take it you're not coming to visit me in Orlando then.
So strangely enough, Hilton Gardens called me last night and they wanted me to take advantage of like this. Or no, when I called them, they connected me for this crazy deal, and they basically wanted me to spend 3 nights, 4 days, whatever it is, in Orlando for like $200. That would be the hotel
really
charge,
good deal,
right?
Yeah.
And I said, do I have to lock in a date now? She goes, no. And I said, well, what if like I can't find time over the next year to do it? And she goes, well, then you lose your money. And I was like, I know myself so well that I'm not going to find time to go visit you in Orlando over the next year, and I'm going to be out $200, even though that's an amazing deal.
That is a really good, yeah.
Mikey says he wants to pick up 5 Nights at Freddy's now. You should.
He says Northern California. I'm so down. Just, listen, if you order pizza and have the coffee being brewed, man, I am on my way. I'll be there right after the meetup. GameCast meetup.
I'll come see you. My brother's in Davis, California. He lived in Tiburon for a little bit, right across the bridge from San Francisco. So I've been there. I love the fishing out there. Oh my God, the fishing. But yeah, glad Transference was on the list, but the demo was much scarier. Oh, that's a great point. I forgot. I haven't played the demo. I totally forgot it existed.
Oh, the funny thing about Transference demo is it's actually a prequel. It's not a demo. I mean, you get the mechanics down. It's the same kind of presentation, but like it's a precursor. It's all unique from the actual game content.
What was it called? The Walter test case? That was
I think so.
There was such a obviously we don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there was such a good moment in that demo / prequel that, man, like I don't think I've ever been presented with in VR before, and it's such a great moment, so memorable that like if you haven't played the demo / prequel, to go check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for the reminder, Paper Wings. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, glad you guys liked the list. It was a lot of fun to make. A lot of fun being duct taped.
I was gonna say you look good in duct tape.
Yeah,
and I don't say that to many guys. That's not true. It's all guys.
Every guy that Bryan invites over
looks good in duct tape.
Yeah. No, it's funny. AJ was sharing a picture from that beforehand in our Discord chat and was like, "Oh, can you guys guess what this next list is going to be?" And I was like, "I think it's top 5 games AJ can't shut up about." That's why he needed that tape over his mouth.
That's great. I like that.
What is this? Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
This Young Frankenstein clip or
something? Wow, Dave.
That was good, man.
Dave knows his movies.
I've seen that a bunch.
Oh, dude, that's one of my favorite movies ever. Young Frankenstein. Oh.
Was that for Nihilist Ryan, the game Feline?
$5
tip saying scary VR game idea. Oh, so Nihilist Ryan, that was you in the Discord, right? Saying where do I submit my VR game ideas? I say a scary VR game idea. Remember the Eddie Furlong 90s VR related film Brain Scan? That's like his idea. Oh, you know that movie? Do that. You know what? I don't. I think the only Eddie Furlong movie I can really remember is T2. I don't remember him in anything else.
He was in Detroit Rock City.
Oh, I remember that. That was good.
He was in. Wasn't he in Pet? He was in Pet Cemetery.
Also, right. Jesus, my brain cells are dead. Also, a good movie. The original.
Yeah.
The remake was terrible.
I never saw it. I remember you were so excited about it. That sucks.
Yeah, I was also excited about the new Child's Play. Child's Play is horrible. The new one.
I stopped being excited about those like 15 years ago.
I figured they had a chance with the reboot to like really bring it back, and then it was just like terrible, just terrible. Oh, I'm so disappointed with horror movies this year. Although I haven't seen all the ones I want to see. So.
Did you see Midsummer?
I did actually. When Mikey Sensei was here, me, Jeremy, and him went together to the theater to go see Midsummer. And
what'd you think?
It's. I mean, what was the movie before that they made?
Hereditary.
I felt like it was.
I like that movie.
It was very Hereditary, except it was more Hereditary than even Hereditary was. I actually, embarrassingly, I had a panic attack about an hour and a half into the movie, and I had to leave the theater.
Sorry to hear that.
I had too much coffee that day, and I didn't see the ending. But Jeremy and Mikey told me it was really fucked up and kind of like nonsensical.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Did it make sense to you?
Is
it worth going back and watching the rest?
Yeah. I saw it twice in theaters actually.
It was like a 3-hour movie.
I really liked it.
Okay, it felt like a 3-hour movie. I have no idea. Nice. I did. What I saw, I really, really enjoyed. So I'm definitely going to be checking out the rest of that soon. Nice. All right, guys, let's get into the news, man. We got a lot to talk about this week.
Oh, man. So, that was the first part of the news was the Contagion. So please, Sony, pass that. I don't care if it's kind of laggy or something. Just pass Contagion. We're desperate out here, man. You're killing us. Other platforms are releasing some good stuff, and we need something good in return. So next thing,
talking nerdy, by the way, says Mandy, the SpectreVision movie.
I loved Mandy.
Does not disappoint. That is really good. Good choice.
It's cool. But yeah, so guys, I know we recently got asked about, do we know about any MMOs? And we talked about Zenith VR, which is one that we're very excited about, of course. But on Reddit, we happened to get some news of a new game that is in development, coming to Steam winter. It's probably not going to be in December. It's probably going to be early 2020. And it's called Ilysia. And now I know in the title it says Tales of Ilysia, but we actually are going to have to change that because they changed the name a couple days ago because they were like worried about copyrights and stuff. But I've got a page of notes here about this, where they're at with this game. Of course, it's a little early, so don't get too excited just yet.
No, get excited.
I'm very excited, to be honest with you. I'm very excited because this team, they're called Team 21 Studio, I believe. And real quick, got to do this.
Got to interrupt yourself. Spooky sound effect. Whoa, what is that?
Who does these sound effects?
What was that?
I don't know.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's
there we go.
That's something
I don't know
want
who
to hear in
makes
the
these
dark.
damn sound effects, but that was Superman Vargas. What's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a minute with the $10 donation. Says, what's up, guys? I subscribed yesterday to you guys. I'm a new subscriber. Found you guys by looking for PS4 VR games, just waiting for a good horror game. Superman Vargas, I've seen you several times. Did you just subscribe yesterday?
Maybe he just subscribed, yeah.
Okay, well, good. Thank you for subscribing, man. That means a lot.
Some people are very hesitant to hit that subscribe button. They're like, I need to make sure I really like these guys before I commit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. You sometimes don't want stuff mixing in your feed, especially if you're not watching PSVR stuff every day. But I stopped doing that. I'm like, I need to support these people. I'm going to subscribe. I've got MMA videos coming now. I've got all different movie list videos coming now. So it's good to support. It's really what helps the channels grow on YouTube. Because trust me, YouTube does not make it easy. But anyways,
you say you have MMA videos?
MMA, I love MMA, man. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but sometimes I watch MMA highlights, so like I can kind of keep up with what's going on.
I feel like I just learned something about you. I don't
I didn't know that either. I'm not like surprised, but I'm
not like super into it, but I like it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of sportsmanship in it and stuff, and there's all these different fighting styles. It's like Tekken. You've got Eddie Gordo, who does like the Brazilian dance fighting. You've got Wanong.
Everyone called him cheap when I was a kid. Yeah.
You've got Wanong, the kickboxer, and it's all this mixed together. You've got King, the cat guy with the wrestling. So it's basically like Tekken, except they don't look as ridiculous Like,
Well,
Paul
what somebody
with the-
needs to do. So wrestling is getting really popular again lately. I feel like a lot of people I see on Twitter are like new fans of wrestling, or just realized that they like it, or it's like kind of going through this renaissance where people are like,
It's because
wrestling is dope
AEW.
again.
Even Polish Paul watches AEW. He's like obsessed with it now. They've made like a counter to the WWE or whatever that's like really popular now, and people are going nuts for it. It's awesome.
I feel like MMA is already so popular. You just throw those two in a blender. You get guys dressed up like King from Tekken in a ring, fighting each other, and then they have this like kind of a soap operatic issues with each other behind the scenes, and then there's the whole
we
good
should
guy,
just
bad
open
guy.
we should just open our own like Tekken tournament or like Mortal Kombat or something.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on a certain key point here that was made at the very beginning of this discussion, and that's when Dave said, everyone called Eddie Gordo cheap when I was a kid. Eddie Gordo came out on Tekken 3 on PS1 when I was like a senior in college. How old were you when you were playing Eddie Gordo as a kid?
I'm 32, so I would have been 7 years younger than you, right?
8.
8. Okay, that's when. I don't know what year off the top of my head,
but I'm very not happy about this at all. So, yeah, it was like around 2001. I remember having maybe maybe it was 2000. I remember having Tekken 3 in my dorm room, and man, it would just be like bowl after bowl after bowl with like these super long, crazy Tekken tournaments. Just be like, okay, let's, and
Tekken 3 changed the game.
Yeah,
well,
dude,
Tekken 2 actually really started it, and then Tekken 3 like revolutionized it, and then Tekken tag tournament was just like everybody.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Tekken when I was a kid. I feel like I tried 7, and it didn't get its claws in me the way I thought it would.
It was okay.
I like the new Mortal Kombat games.
Last good one
Mortal
I played
Kombat
was
Mortal Kombat X was so fucking good. I haven't played the 11th one yet, but I'm curious.
The only reason I even have Tekken 7, is that what you said it was? Is because
the
it has the VR mode, which is like total garbage. It's a practice mode. They couldn't even put health bars in. Come on, ridiculous.
Not the reason to buy
good.
Tekken. No, the last good one I played was 5, I think. That was pretty decent. But how cool would a real Tekken in VR be? I mean, that would be. I don't know how it would work. But
a better
you could
question.
do a third-person fighting thing. I mean, there's that one fighting game in VR that's a third person, and the ring is around you. It's called like Steel something.
Yeah.
It was out in Japan, I think, but it might have come
robots
to other
fighting.
regions.
It was like almost like Rock'em Sock'em robot looking thing.
It wasn't that one. No, there was one that you had like this kind of circular arena, and it was like a 2D plane, but you had to like turn, like the guy could be back here, and that's how they made it VR.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's the best idea in the world, but
the better question is not how good a Tekken game would be in VR, but how good would a World of Warcraft be in VR? Because for the last 5 minutes, I've had this footage playing the bottom of the screen.
I was totally about to jump back on track.
There we go.
You guys really caught me off guard.
I'm really embodying.
I'm like
tonight.
MMA, Tekken.
I'm down. I feel like it's the last day of school before summer, and it just doesn't matter. Right?
Absolutely.
We're just here to have a good time and hang out and like pass the time because it's
I'm so sorry, guys. I was talking about a game. It's called Ilysia.
Not Tales of, as I've tried to claim it is.
Ilysia. But yes, these guys have some really great inspiration for their work. And they what I love about this is I'm going to get into the details.
Get the fuck out of here! Fuck you!
We got $6.99 from 97 Skynet, the T800 Game Cat, who says, can't stay, but just wanted to drop a line saying congrats on the great award show. Wish I could have caught it live. It was a great time watching it live. The chat was popping off. It was very fun, and the after show was cool too.
Yeah.
Had some weird YouTube issues after that, but I think it's all up now, right? The full thing?
Everything's fine. In fact, as fun as it was to watch it live, I think you got the better experience watching it later on. Like a nice smooth, everything worked. Glad you got to check it out eventually. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Appreciate the donation.
And in case you didn't know,
thanks,
97 Skynet, the T800 Game Cat, I freaking love your name. Thank you so much.
It is a great name.
But yeah, so in this, they haven't shown any gameplay of this yet. All they've been showing is this world that's going on. And, I did play WoW. I had a friend that got me into World of Warcraft, and this looks a lot like the first place you start out in if you join the Alliance, the hero side. It was Alliance versus Horde. So We don't have any details on the combat. However, they have said that their classes are still being developed and that the characters can all use both magic and all the weapons, it seems. So you're not really limited. There are going to be playable races to choose from. Some of the other interesting things is that they're saying there's going to be crafting, there's going to be pets, which I love pets in games.
Yeah, pets are great.
They're always awesome to have. In WoW, you had them too. You'd always have these things. There's also mounts.
Cool.
They're planning to have mounts, which I think is really, really cool as well. In WoW, you had griffins, and they actually had a bunch of different stuff. You could like build and engineer stuff. But there's essentially, it's going to be launching on PC first with one big area, and there's going to be bosses, dungeons, caves, and cities and stuff like that. And essentially, like the color scheme, I thought was pretty cool. It's kind of vibrant. Like they actually said they had to tone it down a little, which makes sense because they said it was a little too overboard. But they're also trying to keep it like fun and colorful and not be like dark and gray, which I'm actually cool with. I think if you're going to do that, you're going to have a section. So after they launch, which they've said that their plan is to launch in for PSVR either spring or late summer. So
okay.
I think I would, if I had to guess, I would think late summer. But I could also see it end up being like an early PS5 launch title kind of deal. But I really hope to see this game. Like I said, there's going to be one area at first, then they're going to expand. They've got 6 major areas planned. They're thinking about actually opening up crowdfunding so that they can dedicate more time and not have to worry about going to they do work like, daily jobs and stuff. So it's going to be a minute. These guys are having to deal with making this game and then going into work and stuff. But they have some great inspiration. What I love about this is these guys are gamers. They play Grand Theft Auto. They play World of Warcraft. They're talking about N64 games. Somebody mentions N64 and he just goes on like a 2-paragraph rant about rare games on N64.
And about how much he loves Mervils.
But like a bunch of PlayStation games and just classics, the classics that we grew up with. The other thing that I think is really cool is that these guys are getting their hands like into current VR games like Rec Room, so they're learning the pluses and minuses of things like Rec Room multiplayer, Space Junkies probably. There's a lot of good Rec Room's the best example because that's a lot of people in VR.
Yeah.
But their biggest inspirations are WoW and Skyrim. Go ahead, Dave.
It just occurred to me, I feel like one of the surprises we could see in the future from Rec Room, because they're always adding new stuff. They've got that stunt runner mode now that totally changed up the whole game. You can make like sprint vector style courses like in Rec Room now and challenge people with that stuff. They've already got a pretty good template for, it's a stable thing that runs well, looks pretty good. Everyone's already on it. If they implemented like an MMO thing in Rec Room, the way they did Fortnite, the way they had the Battle Royale, that might work. Like I've never considered that, but I feel like that would be a good idea for them to think about. Because so many people already have the game that the player base is just right there, Even if it was just like 4-player squads or something, like you go together into this world and stuff. I don't know. It could be cool.
Like a bigger version of their quests.
Yeah, bigger version of their quests where there's like persistent progress, like you level up and stuff, go on different quests.
I definitely like that. And I mean, there's a few things here. And actually, my brain is so scattered right now that now that you guys have me thinking about Rec Room, my big question is when is Rec Room going to come out?
I got to get the shots. I got to go get the shots. I'll be back.
All right.
What about Rec Room?
When the hell does Rec Room come out of beta? It's been like the Rec Room beta forever now, right? It's not actually out of beta yet.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. It just updated again today.
It may have certain advantages by staying in beta, and I don't think anybody's complaining that it's still called beta because it functions very much like an actual game. It's probably, why not? If it protects you and your IP or whatever from changes that may have bad results, then it's like, hey, it's just the beta, guys. But,
and it's also probably a workaround so they don't have to require people to have PlayStation Plus to get online.
Maybe, it could be something like that. Although I don't want to spill those beans if that's true.
Right.
We got to keep Rec Room safe because they're doing God's work over there. But another amazing thing about this, I want to hear your thoughts. Is so they mentioned a lot about the freedom that they want to have. They want in this game. He mentions like he just sat there on a rock for like hours, just looking around, enjoying the environment, and he wants players. This is going to have like quests and stuff, obviously. But he wants players to have just the freedom to do whatever they want, whether it be fishing, hunting, stuff like that. And that's another thing I thought was really cool. That's something I really liked about No Man's Sky was like you can do so many things, just whatever you want.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't, despite everything that you said, I don't really have an opinion yet because right now what we're looking at is this kind of good-looking landscape.
Right.
It's certainly not like realistic looking, but that's not what they were going for. It looks like a world I'd like to hang out in and go fishing and do all those quests. But we haven't seen any character designs, which always is a big deal. We've been ranting about how awful the Marvel's character design is. If the characters in this game look atrocious, then it's like, well, man, it's like you've suddenly made this okay looking game look terrible. We don't know if they're going to be like realistic character designs, if they're going to be like super deformed characters. We don't know anything. And I can kind of picture anything happening, with this aesthetic. So I'm curious to see where they go. I'm curious to see, how it controls and just how like the whole thing feels. But man, anybody who's trying something new, in VR is totally okay with me. We've been asking for, different genres. We've been asking for different styles of games, and the big one that people ask for all the time. I think when Elysium kind of poof disappeared from the consciousness of the VR world, everyone's like, well, what's our next MMO, or when are we finally going to get something like that? And this could be the answer. So I'm excited.
For sure.
Yep.
Real quick, ciao, Leonardo Mauro from Italy. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining from Italy.
Ciao.
So just to answer that question for you, actually, because they kind of already have a little bit. We haven't seen it. Of course, we have to see it first. But their inspirations that they're going for is a mix between WoW, World of Warcraft, and Skyrim. So it's going to probably somewhere fall in between. Skyrim, which is like absurdly realistic looking. I mean, that's the appeal of that game, right? Is how amazingly detailed and realistic everything looks. And then WoW was like, it was like a mix between cartoony a little bit, but it was like, it still had just enough detail to like, you could style your hair, whatever you want, or you could have like art pieces and stuff. And, it was just enough detail to make it like immersive enough and enjoyable enough. So a nice balance. I mean, big blue, like orcs and stuff, it was cool. It looked pretty good overall, especially later on.
Nice. Cool, man.
Awesome.
Well, definitely something to look forward to. This is the time of year, man. It's October. It's mid-October. It's like we only have a very limited number of games that we know are coming out in 2020, and so we start stacking up the games that are coming out over the next year. Very cool.
There are definitely more games that are kind of flying under the radar. The problem is we don't have release dates right now, and we're getting a lot of like early project looks, which stuff like this, it looks amazing. But yeah, I mean, we only have like a projected window, and because of the history, especially all the recent delays, we still don't have Aspire 1, still waiting on Contagion, don't have a release date or anything else from Folia Dear Father. Because of this, it makes me want to say like, it's probably going to come a little bit after what we want to expect. Iron Man got delayed. So I don't know if they're doing this intentionally, if like maybe the game's not ready, or if they're intentionally trying to stretch everything out as far as they can to run into PS5. Because that's going to change everything, man. That's going to change everything for us. That's going to change everything for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good combination of everything. I mean, it's like, it's always good to give a team more time if they're asking for it. But yeah, man, it's like, there's at least from what we know, right? There's still plenty of games lined up for the rest of this year, or a lot of potential games lined up for the rest of this year. So, with Golem coming out, like we don't need another big AAA game.
I forgot. Yeah, I mean, and isn't Crazy Machines coming out tomorrow too? So that's maybe. Like another. Yeah.
Get me up to speed on Crazy Machines. What is Crazy Machines?
That's the Rube Goldberg thing. The Rube Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
Coming out by Perp Games. They got a physical release coming out. I think it's coming out tomorrow, actually.
So it's different than Fantastic Contraption.
Way different.
Probably better.
Yeah.
Way different.
When I played Crazy Machines at PAX the year before this, it was more like, hey, here's a Rube Goldberg machine with a piece missing. figure out what the missing piece is. Like that was sort of the campaign mode, and then there's like obviously this area where you can just like build and create your own stuff. But I don't know. It just didn't seem like as like a fully fleshed out idea a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping
maybe
that
yeah.
Let's see what happens.
But yeah, this is one definitely just another one. We got this to look forward to. There's a lot more that's going on that it seems like on the surface. You know, it's easy to look just at the mainstream. There's no TV commercials, you know, for it. So we're kind of having to scrounge around, find our own information, which is what we are here for you guys. We're here for you for that reason, because I spend a lot of time digging around looking for stuff to talk about. It's ridiculous. It's really hard.
Clean your fucking fingernails.
And but no, there's trust me guys, there's a lot to be excited for and a lot of stuff coming out, and this is just another one. I mean, we went from a week ago to having, or a couple weeks ago, to not having like any MMOs or anything. Now we've got, you know, Redemption's Guild coming out. We've got Ilysia coming out, not soon, but all this stuff, and yeah, it's just all flying under the radar like it usually does, but we're going to be on top of it, don't you worry.
And hopefully some of these will be surprises.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely.
It's hard to get the it's hard to get people excited about indie games until they turn out to be amazing. You know, I feel like even like watching the trailer is something that we all almost universally love, like To the Top. You know, it doesn't sell itself with the trailer. You go, oh, it's just a kind of okay bouncing around the walls. But then when you get in there and you feel it, you're like, this is really fun. It's, you know, an amazing feeling and exciting to race through those levels. So, you know, I guess that's what we're here for, right? We gotta like tell people if things are good or not.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But yeah, I mean, we're going to, of course, have some, that's just it though. You know, we've had some really popular demand games delayed, and then we've had some stinkers come out. And then, you know, so it sucks, but it's nothing to worry about. We're going to get ours soon enough. Space shooter game, the Game Cat says Nostos. Still looking forward to Nostos as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's it. Ilysia, really looking forward to gonna you know, keep an eye on this, see any updates and stuff. Got a long way to wait, but definitely will be keeping an eye on the PC side, what's going on over there, how it develops, and really looking forward to an MMO in VR. You guys know, just multiplayer in VR, being next to somebody, seeing them like, you know, right next to you and stuff, and seeing their body move is just amazing. It's not like any flat screen VR experience you could ever imagine. So, and
you always hear about in MMOs like people who become like lifelong friends or get married or whatever just from meeting in the game because they spend so much time together and stuff. But imagine like you're actually standing next to people, like that's an even stronger connection, I feel like. So it should be really cool as long as they get a good player base going. Maybe I'll meet my future wife.
It's funny that you say that. I was just telling Bryan earlier, my best friend actually met his wife through EverQuest 98.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, back in the days, man, everybody was shacking up on there.
I played WoW with my ex. It was a lot of fun, man. And people were just like, how did you meet a girl that plays WoW? And it's like, yeah, they're out there, man. They're everywhere. Yeah, just don't fucking harass them. And
I mean, women aren't like some separate species. Like they like video games too a lot of the time.
Exactly. But yeah, I can't wait for this.
What's next on the docket, AJ?
Oh man, we got a surprise. I've got a surprise for you guys.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's a new game.
I hope it's not a surprise to me because I'm not ready for it.
That's what a surprise is all about, Bryan.
Yeah, there was an article from Reality Virtual, and there was a game that we knew about a long time ago, but it's been somewhat re-announced, and it's called Loco Dojo. And
I've heard of that for years. Yeah.
Yes. So apparently they were told that, you know, obviously this is take it with a grain of salt because we're not exactly sure, but from what the developers have told them is that it's going to be releasing on PSVR pretty soon. And this Reality Virtual is a cool channel. I like them because they actually did a whole article on our award show, and they showed all the games we announced, and they did everything, and they linked our video, so we're all good. But
right after that, we saw an influx of Spanish-speaking viewers.
Oh, really?
It was amazing.
Shout out everybody.
Yeah. Hola, bienvenidos. ¿Cómo estás? I was like, I mean, and I'm not even joking. Like I was like, why?
Right.
I was like, this is great, but I'm like, I have to like put everything through Google Translate, and then I was like, oh, and then I saw what happened. I was like, this all makes sense now. This is cool.
Yeah. I've been following them for a while. I know they have some ties with like Echoes VR. they're because they're both Spanish background. So it's really cool to see just everyone from around the world. And I absolutely, that's one big thing I do on Twitter is I support all the different languages. I'll retweet stuff in Japanese. I don't care because I'll read it or translate it first, of course. But I don't want to leave anybody excluded. This is about everyone, and you never know what you can find. And, for reasons like this,
you got to retweet Japanese stuff, man. It's like PlayStation's our native tongue.
Yes, it really is. We speak PlayStation around here, okay? in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, this game looks like everything that I did like. Mini Mech Mayhem, I did like that. I thought it was pretty fun. But
I think Catan, that's a great game.
Yeah, it was. But Catan, it was like a little like bare bones, and it's like, okay, you're playing a board game in person with each other. Great. This is the first one that I'm truly excited for because you're playing the board game. You've got all your costumes and stuff you can get. Then when you initiate the mini games, it throws you into the mini games and you play them like a 4-player. Like I'm not going to say the games look like Mario Party. Yeah. but it's that same concept where you're playing a board game, everybody gets sucked into the mini games, you play the mini games. Looks like there's a nice variety. I mean, there's stuff from throwing frisbees to shooting slingshots to like all sorts of different things. It's like this little hungry hippos with claws and stuff. So this is the kind of board game. When I think of board game in VR, this is what I want. Something that's like more immersive, something that's like takes advantage of being a video game and VR.
So when you play Monopoly in VR, you want to go to Boardwalk and like actually get out like wood and nails and like and build a house?
I would honestly probably enjoy it somewhat more. Well, if you remember the PC version of when there's the board game, of course, but the PC version and the later console versions, whenever you bought a property, it would cut to the property and show this like either really nice property or it would show like this like fence, this wooden fence that like falls apart. And that's what I'm talking about. That was PC flat screen. That was what it was there for. If it was just looking at a board on the thing, it really missed an opportunity to add the extra animations. I mean, you're a game, add the extra animations, and that's what this does.
Well, and that kind of reminds me a little bit of one of the things I like best about Operation Warcade too, is where you're playing kind of like at an arcade machine almost. You've got like the limited view. And then you get to a section where you're down there driving the car, shooting at people with the aim controller, like on the ground. And I always thought that was a really cool twist, and those parts were really fun. So putting that in a board game context would be just as good, I think. David, what's the name of that one again?
Why does this guy want to buy you a PlayStation 5?
Loco.
Hey, man, don't say no, man. Don't shoot him down. I'll take it.
It's called Loco Dojo. It is on Oculus right now, but apparently going to be coming to PS5. What do you guys think? You guys, Decepticon says this could be fun if multiplayer, which it probably will be. It looks like it's going to be 4-person. Tommy the VR Cat says EverQuest, the member berries. That's but yeah, you guys excited for this one, or you think it's just not going to strike everybody?
I think it'll be good. I mean, I've heard stuff about this game without even really knowing what it was for a long time. I think it was supposed to come to Quest, and then it was one of those ones where just like To the Top, where they shot it down for some dumb reason.
That makes sense. That makes sense because they said they're not I think they want to bring it to Quest, but there's no plans for it right now, just PSVR.
Yeah. They already got those plans shut down by Oculus, which is still really stupid on their part because, there's name recognition for that game. Any game you can put on the Quest, you might as well put it on the Quest. So I don't know what they're thinking, but
right.
Yeah.
They're thinking they don't want Warzone.
Oh,
God, yeah. No, it's pass on Warzone.
I'm going to say that this game is going to live and die based on how much fun it is to play the mini games. Because Mario Party was always good because for the most part, all of those games were really fun. Like they were, but then like Crash Bash, right? Remember Crash Bash?
Yes.
I never played Crash Bash. Is that Mario Party with Crash Bandicoot?
It's exactly that. and it's bad.
Wait, that exists? Oh, it's bad.
It's
shit.
on PlayStation
I got
1, and it's
excited
bad.
It's okay. It's not Mario Party, but it is like you play mini games together versus each other.
The games aren't fun though, and that was the big problem with Crash Bash, because it was just like this, and there were huge loading screens from like the game world to the mini games. The transitions were way too long, and so like it didn't feel like this fast-paced, frantic thing. And so there's a ton of things that could go wrong with a mini game compilation like this with multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
and like obviously it just has to be fun, and that's I think nailing the fun aspect is what a lot of developers haven't actually figured out yet.
Trouble with.
Yeah,
I mean Nintendo, when we talk about Mario Party, like those, they know how to make fun things. Right. Like even spin-offs that aren't exactly the same. Like if you guys played Nintendo Land on the Wii U, I think.
Yep.
That was there were some pretty fun games on that, honestly. Like I had a good time with that. It's hard for other developers, I think, to come up with small concepts that are just immediately fun and throw a bunch of them in there. Yeah. Well, fingers crossed.
It's a really good point, Brian. It really does come down to whether the games and the board game itself, how balanced it is, how fun it is. Because Mario Party 1 through 3 was a lot of fun. Then after that, it was like, it got kind of rough, kind of little up and down after that.
Well, in the one on the Wii U, was it Mario Party 10 or I lost track of them.
8,
where you all get into the cart together and go around the board together? Was that? It was like it ruined everything. It was like it just totally pulled out some of the fun stuff, like completely. It's like, and here's Nintendo, who you always trust to make something fun, and they didn't even realize what was fun about their old games. So
it was definitely a strange move on their part to change that formula. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, is the old saying.
Absolutely. And real quick out there in the chat, so Mako is gone. He's the one who was campaigning for me to take shots. So I'm sorry you don't get to see this live, Mako, but chat, Fireball or vodka? I'll do whatever you decide. And I've been having a rough day anyway, so I could use it. But yeah, let's move along.
Well, then
I'll let them decide, and then I'll take it.
Can I put a vote in the chat as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, man, I'm going to live vicariously through you because this was my jam for 15 years.
I know you're going to say vodka. I thought you were going to say Fireball.
I drank straight vodka out of the bottle for 15 years. I blacked out every single night for 15 years straight, and I loved every minute of it. It was the hardest thing I ever had to quit. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Andy, this shot's for you. But yeah, I think the mini games look fun. At least we can see some gameplay on this, and I think they look a lot of fun to me. So excited and nice variety. So definitely looking forward to that.
I think Fireball's winning.
Next up, we have, we've had these VR education experiences, I should say, because they're not really games. And I've been wanting to talk about this one for a minute. We're just going to touch quickly on it because I don't think there's a whole lot to go about. But I got to say, of all the VR education ones, this new one, Space Shuttle Commander VR, looks probably like their best work yet. For those who don't know, VR Education made Apollo 11, which was okay. It had some moments. I actually liked the moment where you're falling back down to Earth. I thought that was really cool. Bouncing on the moon. But overall, the gameplay of it, because it lets you take control, was awful. And then the graphics also weren't that great. But then there was Titanic, which we've talked about back and forth. Which the actual thing of going underwater and exploring the sunken Titanic was pretty cool. Was probably the highlight of it. Everything else was kind of just eh.
Yeah, I wish Apollo could have been a little better, like the gameplay parts where you had to land the ship and stuff. I eventually was just nah, just put me on autopilot. This is too fucking hard. It's not fun.
It's always strange to be watching something for 20 minutes and then suddenly they're like, oh, now you take control. You're like, well, you just threw me into something.
Yeah.
Now I'm supposed to feel immersed when I was just sitting back and watching. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and they could always use a little bit more graphical polish, I feel like, especially Apollo is pretty rough. I didn't actually play Titanic myself, but I watched you guys play it a decent amount. So
yeah, and we all know how bad Chernobyl was. Man,
yeah,
that was.
Oh, that was them too. I forgot about that.
That was
I tried to forget.
Was that them too? Was it the same developer?
I think that was a different dev.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because that one's more of a 360 kind of experience, right?
So a lot of it is 360 video where they interview people. And so the problem with the 360 video is not only is it the blurriest video you'll ever see, but the only thing that's interesting is happening right in front of you. And so
What's
you
the
turn
point
around
of
and
it
you're
being
like,
in 360?
there's nothing happening behind me. Like maybe like a little
Jesus
farm animal
Christ.
walked by at some point. I was like, well, I don't really give a fuck about the farm animal. Is that why this thing is 30 gig on my hard drive? Because of the farm animal? I don't know how big it really was. But
I mean,
but then
developers who don't realize that these things are so much better in VR 180, I don't know what the hell they're doing, because you don't need the 360 kills a lot of the depth. If it's a 360 video wrapped around your head, it usually doesn't have any good virtual reality-ness to it other than it surrounds you everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas like 180 VR always looks pretty good, I think. And there's not as much video there, so it's less file size, so you can do a better image quality. So I just don't understand why people do 360 video stuff. Like Very VR, Jesus.
Yeah, so bad.
Very VR is one of the worst.
And that was supposed to have like a live feed, right? And it just didn't even ever work.
Yeah, and even when it did, it was not like a 360 thing. It was a flat one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but the other...
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to talk more about Chernobyl, and no one wants to hear that. So let's move on.
Yeah, but this, I think something I've always wanted to do is be an astronaut. That was like one of the things I wanted to do when I grew up. And I don't know if I've just always been like crazy enough to want to do it or what, but it just sounds like exciting and fun. And so VR has been a great like outlet for me for, between No Man's Sky, Detached, even the experience of Detached, even Horus Station to some degree. I've always enjoyed being out in space. I want to experience that feeling of floating out in space. And I'm hoping that they get the game mechanics right in this. As long as I'm sure that it's going to be mostly educational simulation, not full simulation, but which actually Talking Nerdy says, I really hope PS5 brings us full-fledged Sims in VR, truck, plane, train, boat. I don't know how you guys feel about those. For me, space. So I want space and maybe like underwater exploration.
What I want is along those lines, like truck, plane, train, boat. There's this like bus simulator genre of games where you have to like pick people up and drop them off at certain places, and it's very sim. It's not like an arcade fun driving game. For some reason, I really want to play one of those in VR.
Well,
They've got them on PC, but I haven't seen one on PlayStation yet.
I've been seeing Madman in Black, the Game Cat, always retweeting. Is it GamerTech UK? Is that who's been playing the bus simulator stuff? And like he's like addicted to it, and it sounds like the dumbest thing ever, but everyone's like going crazy over it. And so I'm like,
I'm excited.
Yeah, throw me into
we
VR,
get stuff
man.
like that.
Absolutely, I want to pull that handle and open the door. Come on in. Yeah, make sure you pay your bus fare. I don't know how it works. I haven't been on a bus in forever. Uber's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm more for I like the crazy arcade stuff, but to me,
I want that too. I want everything.
Crazy Taxi VR says Magic the Game Cat.
Good call, Magic.
But space is something that I would like totally want a realistic, like how intense, how hardcore could you be, like Dirt Rally, like but in space. Like how hard that is, and how it's like you have to learn all this lingo that you never heard before. That's the kind of experience. I don't think this is going to go all that way, but I got to say this one does look polished compared to their other ones. So we'll see how this one turns out.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I've been trying to keep an eye on the chat and kind of copy and paste things I want to talk about into a Word file here, so we can always jump back to it. And a little while back, Colt45 Rayman 88 said, "Ready to camp in front of Best Buy for a PlayStation 5." I didn't know that was something people still did. I just thought we've all given up on camping out, and we just order from Amazon. It shows up at noon on launch day.
You didn't hear? We're going next week, man.
Absolutely do that.
Next week.
I guarantee you. Yeah, people still camp out at Black Friday sales and stuff too. Like
I kind of get that, but the last time I went, it was not fun at all.
Yeah, well, I went like after the big rush, and I was like, maybe they'll have something left. I was trying to get a TV, like a 4K TV.
How'd it go?
And they sold out of all the good deals, and then they just had normal price stuff left over. So I went to a pawn shop across the street, and I got myself a 4K TV because they were having a Black Friday sale. And there was fucking nobody there. I was just like, "Yeah, this one looks good. I'll take it."
Nice.
Like,
since it's relevant, I mean, yeah, you want like Black Friday starts November 1st most of the time these days. So because of all the incidents, trampling, and like just insane waits for getting nothing. So you want to keep your eye out for Black Friday stuff as soon as November hits. So.
But what are you guys going to do for a PlayStation 5? Like, because obviously, when PlayStation 4 came out, I've said it over and over and over again that like I wasn't terribly excited for this generation to start, but I'm super crazy excited for next gen to start. So I'm kind of torn now. I was like, do I want my PS5 at midnight? If like Best
that's
Buy
what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to pre-order it someplace that has a physical pickup at midnight. Because first of all, it's going to be like a party. Like everybody's going to be so stoked. Yeah. Everyone in line is going to be having a great time. And I'm sure they'll have some stuff going on to keep people entertained. But yeah, like GameStop or Best Buy. I don't want to wait for Amazon to bring it whenever they feel like on the day it comes out. I want to just grab it, bring it home with me.
I've got a Best Buy account that I've got like the Platinum Rewards or whatever. So I usually get like early access and can order stuff, pre-order it.
Oh, nice.
Before everyone else. So that's usually my route is Best Buy membership stuff.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I didn't even consider it before I saw this comment, and now I'm thinking like, wow, I got to get on this and figure out where the best place to pick it up is, and start asking, who's going to take these kind of pre-orders where, like Dave said, you can pick it up at midnight. Hopefully any GameStop around will be doing that.
Yeah, I will. As soon as I find out, I will let you guys know. How about that? Because I will definitely be stocking it, and we'll definitely get the word out. So that, we get one first before everyone.
You're going to be stocking it?
The PS5? Hell yeah, I am.
You're stocking it on the store shelves?
Yes.
Just like
make sure the labels are facing out?
Move the cereal box and like the eye peeks through.
And that's just got real
All right,
creepy.
but that is Space Shuttle Commander. I'm looking forward to it. Not going to overhype it, but definitely looking forward to it.
All right, what's next on the news agenda, AJ?
All right, well, today we got an update for a huge PSVR game, and that's going to be Blood and Truth. It got a brand new update. They've added 5 new challenges, and I got to say...
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and this was a nice surprise. I was sitting there, and just saw the update, and I was like, what is this? And then went and checked out the notes, and that's what it was. And so Brian's going to go ahead and roll some footage in the bottom left corner that you can check out, but essentially these 5 new challenges.
Just talk real slow, AJ, while it's downloading. Talk real slow.
5
real slow. No one's even going to notice that it's not up yet.
Okay, well, he's going to get that going pretty soon. But they've added a quick. So this is the thing. Last time they had the skeet shoot, right? And the skeet shoot was like, it was cool. What my favorite part about it, even though I hate puzzles, was the puzzle part, and it's because it wasn't just flat out skeet shoot. It was like a variation of it, it's like they made it like more game and gamified, and that's one thing I really liked about these new challenges. They took me about 20 minutes to complete, and they have the quick draw, the pistol spinning, the mechanism, the color coded, and the hot swapping.
Now, real quick, we got a question in the chat that I was also going to ask you as well from Sonic, Mr. Sonic the Game Cat. Yeah. Are the challenges AIM compatible? I know the previous ones were. Are these ones AIM compatible as well, or no?
So they probably are, because the challenges in general are supposed to be.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
That being said, moves are the way to go with it, because the majority of these challenges are dual wielding, and they've done just about everything right with this game for the most part. But their AIM dual wielding is and
you also can't spin the guns the same fun way you can
but yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend using the AIM unless you're just doing specific two-handed challenges. So the first one, quick draw, was essentially just like it sounds. It actually starts you off in like this new kind of desert environment. How much longer, Brian?
Dude, it's like I've already got 1.3 gig downloaded. How big is this file?
Oh, geez. Real quick, Brian, also, I want to throw this out just so you know. I don't think this was on our list. Maybe it was. Headmaster got an update? Did you know that?
I actually didn't know that. I've been totally out of the news loop for days.
Yeah. You're a Headmaster guy, though. I know you're always repping Headmaster. So I'm really curious. Paper Wings, if you want to tell us a few details, or I'll Google it. But I didn't know that either. That's really cool.
Yeah, Tommy the Cat in the VR hat meow says, any news on new Blood and Truth missions?
I can't hear you, AJ.
We're losing AJ. We're losing AJ.
But luckily, I do have this video file now. So
just in time.
Here we go.
AJ, just type what you want to say in the chat. We'll read it for you.
Right. We'll be ventriloquists, and you can move your mouth while we speak for you. I just reach my hand over here and just pretend I'm making him talk.
Hear you, AJ. Maybe now? No. I heard a little something for a second.
No?
Hello. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome back,
Sorry.
AJ.
Real quick, $2 donation from Darwin's Eyeball. What's up, man? Thank you so much. Darwin's awesome, man.
Fuck you, get
Thank
out
you.
of here.
but yeah, so now that you've got it playing, so yeah, the first one is Quick Draw, where you start out and it's exactly how it sounds. They actually did this one really well. It is back to the targets again. This is actually my gameplay. He's showing in the bottom left, and I tried to get into it a little bit, like holding the thing, but essentially a target pops up and you have to holster your gun, and then you wait for it to say draw, and then you pick it up and shoot it. But the cool thing is, like, they have more targets as you go, and as you transition to the next little spot, they actually have some targets pop up, and I really like that touch. So it's not just like you go from one spot, you draw, you go from one spot to draw. It's you go from one spot, you draw, and then you actually got to reload, remember to reload. And then as you're going to the next one, you just get some regular target practice, and then you just keep going.
I have a question.
Yes.
You in the front. One of my I'm not going to call it a guilty pleasure, but I'm going to say a very, very independent game that I kind of fell in love with, that Des is a huge fan of too, is Cold Iron. And that was, like, it had a lot of quick draw stuff. And my question is this, does this do enough to, like, rival Cold Iron, or do I still need that game in my library?
This is one challenge. So I would say keep Cold Iron, but this is really good for what it is. You can't, I mean, it's Blood and Truth. So it's really polished. Okay. The thing is it's really short. It's not, I think Cold Iron was still like, what, 2 hours long at most?
Yeah, and there were some really challenging parts that I had to replay a ton of times. That one lady who, like, kept disappearing off in the distance and then pop up.
The sniper,
she
right?
kicked my ass. Oh my god, she kicked my ass so many times.
I mean, yeah, but I will say, like, the aim and everything, the aiming on it feels really good, and it was pretty smooth. It's simple. It's target practice. So, but yeah.
But I mean, it's wrapped around a game that's already got a ton of good stuff in it. The campaign is awesome, and then there already were a bunch of challenge modes and time trials and stuff. So it's just like a little extra icing on the cake every time. Sort of like Gran Turismo does that too. Like, here's a little bit of stuff, and then a few weeks go by, here's a little bit more stuff. So
the next mode, which is being shown now, is called pistol spinning. And what's going on here is you actually, so everybody knows that has played Blood and Truth, is hopefully that if you hold the square and circle or something, you can actually twirl the guns. So they've actually designed a new challenge out of this to where you have to twirl the guns to make the targets pop up.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so and of course the timer can run out on them, but this was another one that was like, this is really creative. This is what I like to see. It's not just, a target pop up and you shoot it. It's thinking of ways to make it more fun. And this was another really good one where, like, I was, like, having really fun, just, like, shooting and then twirling, shooting and stuff like that. And this was just another one that I thought was really cool, creative, and fun.
One of my favorite things about Blood and Truth, the spinning thing, is that you can still shoot while you're spinning it in a circle. And so it'll be going, just, like, popping off everywhere, which seems like it would be very dangerous. Like, you kill yourself immediately. But it's fun. So there's that.
Nice.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this one. You don't have the ability to skip ahead, do you, Brian?
No.
Just talk slow again. But no, this was, I should have maybe just kept it to little clips. I was actually going to split it up individually while we talk. But yeah, this was the twirling one. The next one was called Mechanism. And this one was like one of the more different ones for sure, where you actually pull these levers, and then as you pull these levers, these big machines start rotating. And then as they rotate, it reveals a target on them. So you pull this lever, there's 3 levers, and then, you start hitting the targets. And then after a short amount of time, another one pops up, and then they all just start working together. And at the very end, you've got machines to your left and right. You've got ones to your top and bottom. You've got some in the far back, and they're all spinning. And at some little tiny point, it'll reveal a little target, whether it be blue, red, or yellow. And, of course, the harder it is, the more points and time you get for it. So
it almost sounds like a light, like a low-key boss fight kind of deal, because like you got the little like points that show up at certain times and you can only shoot them right then you got to get it just right, like the weak spots almost.
Right.
So that's cool. I like that.
This looks really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's starting to play now where you can see it. And yeah, it's pretty unique. It's like I said, I was not expecting it. Pretty cool stuff. So
yeah, they never really give us a heads up like, hey, this is about to come out or this is what we're working on. It's just like, hey guys, here's some shit. Your game's updated. Take a look.
Yeah. Which is kind of
cool.
fun.
I love surprises. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still the biggest addition for me was the new game plus and the harder difficulty. You know, I think all of these modes look really cool, but just like the aim ones, I played through once. I was like, all right, I get it. I'm not really interested in spending a ton of time with these, but I will definitely play through again on New Game Plus and a harder difficulty.
When I was in that mindset of trying to unlock like the high level guns that you need like 100 stars for or whatever, when the game initially came out, I got kind of into the challenges and stuff because it's like another way to rack up some stars.
Nice.
And if you're in that mindset, I think any new content is good because it just lets you keep that grind going of like, I gotta unlock that stuff. Yeah. The minigun, right? I still don't have it. But...
Maybe that was my problem, was that I wasn't looking at it like that. You know,
you need the motivation behind it to go back and get that high score. And
because New Game Plus, I think you start off with all the guns you've already unlocked, right? So maybe I will spend time with the challenges before I go back into that. So definitely.
Well, that's the thing about this is to get that minigun, to get the high scores and stuff like that, you have to have basically like precision shots. Like you have to basically not miss and get all headshots. And that's something. It makes this game
tough.
kind of easy to learn, hard to master. But that's usually a good format for most games. I know the majority of people probably aren't going to do it, but it's like you said. Not everybody has to play every single game that comes out like us. So before I was doing this, I would focus on one game and just master it. And that's what the typical person usually does.
I've always just bought games, not finished them, moved on to the next game, bought a game.
Yeah.
I have to try everything, and then I play it, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then I'm like, oh, wait, another new game just came out.
The only problem about that is you end up missing some of the best parts of the game. You can.
Oh, I'm sure,
not every game. A game can be really fun, but there's just all these like wonderful secrets. Devs are sick and twisted sometimes, and they like to make you do some crazy things in games, but they also like reward you with like some sort of experience or something that you learn. So
I mean, if I hadn't finished Nier Automata, I would be kicking myself because you have to play that game all the way through, and I did because it had a grip on me in a certain way. Most games don't do that, but some can.
Yeah, I think before PSVR came around, I was definitely in the same mindset as like, I want to know a little bit about everything, and I would play everything I get my hands on, but then obviously I'd have to keep moving and never finish anything. But once I started focusing on PSVR stuff on the YouTube channel, it was like I wanted to like really know each game inside out, especially if I'm going to review it.
Exactly.
Sometimes I tell AJ, I'm like, dude, I spent 5 hours with Warzone, and he's like, why? Why'd you spend 5 hours with Warzone? I was like, because I can't give it a shitty review until I've spent enough time with it to know that I've seen everything there is to see.
It sounds like a torture chamber. 5 hours in Warzone.
That's sort of how it works over here.
I feel like that should be banned on the human rights convention.
Which we will get to. The next mode, which is actually showing right now, I want to get it while it's still going. Was color coded, and this one was a lot of fun. This might have been one of my favorites. I to be honest with you, I like the majority of these. But what made this one so much fun is, you have a blue gun in the right hand, a red gun in the left hand. A blue target pops up, a red target pops up. And what made this so much fun is like the way
Saber
in the video, it kind of was like Beat Saber, because they do like cross the targets. So I was like doing like this at times, and like the way they did the patterns and everything actually did a really good job with it. It was a lot of fun, and they would randomly throw like 3 blues at you, then randomly throw 3 reds at you, and then they would cross them and stuff like that. So this was another one where I was like, I feel like I'm playing a really fun game right now.
I liked seeing that some of them were blue and you'd shoot them and then they'd flip over and be red, but not all of them flipped over to the other color. So it keeps you on your toes. I like it.
Right. So this was, like I said, this was another one of the more fun ones. I really, really loved the first 4 challenges. Then the final challenge, which was hot swapping. This one is similar to the color coded. Once it shows it, oh yeah, it's actually going to show it right now, which is good. But this is where my problem with this game comes, and it's not a big problem, but it is a problem. And it's that it gives you a blue pistol and a red sniper rifle. And so what happens is there'll be blue targets popping up. You shoot them with the pistol. You have to holster it, switch to the red sniper rifle, and then start using it. My probably biggest problem with this game is the dual wielding, the two-handed weapons, two-handed rifles, two-handed guns. There's actually a part in this video clip, you should be able to see at some point or another, where I'm actually trying to aim down the sights, and you've got my two hands are too close together. My headset is got the lights. So all three of these together are just making the gun do this. So a lot of Blood and Truth through the game with the dual wielding guns, I had to just no scope and just one-handed use a two-handed weapon to fire.
Yeah.
And that's where my biggest issue with this game comes from, is just the two-handed weapons. The pistols feel amazing. You can twirl them, you can reload them, you can do all this stuff at once, but you can't even hold a two-handed weapon.
I mean, I don't know that I've really ever seen a great implementation on PSVR of a two-handed weapon like that, just because of the limitation of the blocking your own tracking with the other hand. Like Gun Club VR felt awesome until you picked up a two-handed gun, and then it just broke the whole thing. It sucked ass. Yeah. That happens a lot, like almost inevitably. Yeah. So these are great devs, but sometimes you hit that wall, and I would say just don't implement it that way. Like, don't make people do that at all in the first place, but whatever.
Yeah. Is that the end of the Blood and Truth updates?
That is, like I said, overall, I think most people, like you said, they do want the action or the. I think the best thing they could do is make a sequel, or B, do like more story content. But what I can say is now when you go to that challenges section, it's a nice, big, chunky challenge section. Mm-hmm. So they really did a nice job in filling out that section, making it feel like more of a complete experience, complete game in that regard. Next up is story. We need more story. We want more action, stuff like that.
So you want a Blood and Truth 2 is what you want.
I think everybody wants a Blood and Truth 2, honestly.
Does want a Blood and Truth 2. And, we'll definitely get it at some point or another, hopefully.
PSVR we got a launch title.
We got to remember, it came out within the last year.
Right.
So, I would love to see a new one, but it's going to be a while. And I'm sure this took a lot of work. Yeah. I mean, the facial animations, the level of depth with all that stuff, the action set pieces, that's not something you do overnight. So it's going to take a long time.
No, it is a quality game. But, good on them. Even some DLC missions. I don't want them to keep doing this and then people play it for 20 minutes. It took me 20 minutes to run through this and then it's done. So I worry sometimes that, they're doing this and, I know this wasn't easy to do. These challenges were actually really good, and I bet they spent a lot of time for it. And I really hope people check it out. It's fun.
All right, moving on. We got something else to talk about? Question mark.
Just a real quick update for Saber VR. They tweeted out.
Did you laugh a little bit when you said "Okay, Dave"?
I did
a little bit. I heard that.
But they tweeted out basically that they have an update coming out in December, and it's going to feature a non-VR mode, which we don't care about, but it's going to be crossplay with VR, which might be nice. The really most significant thing about this is there's going to be a single-player mode. So now you can, in December, when they release this update, you'll be able to play this game single-player. I know you guys...
Does that just mean against bots? Like the same game, but just with bots in it, or
I don't know actually. I mean, I would think probably just bots. I mean,
I would bet on it. Anything else would be too much work.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think they have the budget for it because I know they didn't sell that many copies.
Right. No. One of my biggest complaints about this game is that when you buy new weapons, you can't go test them out if there's no one online. Like you just have to wait to play against people to actually test out your weapon. There's no practice mode. So actually being able to go in and play against bots will alleviate some of my problems with this game. Not all.
I can't see I can't see anyone who has any other games available on a flat screen PS4 playing this in flat ever. I don't know why you would, honestly. If it's not in VR, I don't see the merit to it really much at all, because it's a dead online game that nobody has, and it's not the best of that genre that we have right at the moment. Like, you're much better off with Battle Wake than Saber, you know? So
we'll see. I'm like I said, I enjoyed the gameplay, but being just against bots, yeah, it's not going to really. I mean, that's your closest thing to being able to jump in and test the weapons.
This is an interesting twist for me as well. Kevgrat, he likes Saber. He's a Saber fan. He says it just didn't get a fair chance when it was released. There really is something there. So that's an interesting take from Kev. I didn't realize
it's got a lot of style and charm, man. It looks like freaking Transformers or something, like the Beast Wars and stuff. Like it's got a lot of cool influences. That's why I like it too. Is it's really colorful. The move gameplay. I know you guys didn't like the gameplay very much, but I actually like the gameplay a lot. But it just, like you said, it was missing a lot of things to really, it's just missing a lot of things. And I could definitely see myself like jumping in and playing some single player, just killing some bots and stuff. I don't know, whatever mode. I of course would like more stuff, but I wouldn't mind some single player destruction. But December is when we can expect that update, and we'll be getting something else, some cool skins in that as well.
All right. I'd also like to remind people, if you're into that sort of like Transformers vibe thing, the Transformers, what is it called? DreamWorks Transformers something experience.
You
know what I'm talking about?
You mean the Voltron one?
Voltron. The Voltron Chronicles, yeah. That's actually really solid, and nobody ever talks about it. It's a really good single-player campaign. There's like some Star Fox-style gameplay segments. There's bosses, and it's really polished, and it's got that sort of classic Transformers look to it.
Wasn't that like really expensive for a very short experience?
It's about an hour or two, but it wasn't mega expensive, and I've seen it for like $5, I think.
On sale,
like
yeah.
It's gone down, yeah.
If you can get it on sale, it's definitely something to look into. But currently, what is it? So it's $10 currently.
That's not bad at all. I would pay 10 for that any day. It's so polished.
It is
and
really
the gameplay
polished.
parts are fun.
But it's sort of, isn't it like episode 1? And we just never got more. I always hate that.
I mean, you could say that about like 90 different PSVR games. Like,
that's true.
Fated, The Grand Order, Chapter 1.
Okay,
never
Fated.
Saw anything else. Yeah, you remember it now.
Yeah, I liked Fated. I wanted to see more of that story. I wanted to nod and shake my head.
So
more.
many. I think the only thing that's a Chapter 1 that ever got followed up is Exorcist.
True.
Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Like, I don't know. It's usually a death knell for a game if there's a Chapter 1.
Yeah, for sure.
Interested to see, I know some of the Game Cats and I will get together with this one. And
I'm gonna start making a list of the things Kevgrat likes and doesn't like, and just present it to him in like some kind of spreadsheet, and go, listen, man, we really need to discuss your interests because you like this, but you don't like this. I'm like, come on, let's just seriously now. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying we need to discuss this at length. It's an issue. Come on, dude.
Oh man. But yeah. So next up, though,
love you, Kim.
Seriously, love you.
We're going to talk about the greatest game that has come out this year so far. We're going to talk about Warzone.
Oh, baby!
Everybody's been waiting for. I'll let you guys go ahead and take it away.
All right, Brian, you should kick it off because you played it. I just watched people play it, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, no. You didn't play it yet? You didn't play it?
I'm not going to spend money on that. What are you talking about? It looks terrible.
You have an obligation to the people, man.
I've spent a lot of money on games that I didn't get codes for recently that were actually kind of fun, like Concrete Genie's VR stuff I liked. I am not spending money on Warzone, sorry.
I don't blame you. I've spent a lot of money on games I played for like 2 minutes, I played this one for a couple hours, I think, most.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like I said in my review, Warzone, I actually think, when you go into Warzone saying, we know there's no multiplayer. We know that it's made by Sin Studio, and with their track record of the Perfect Sniper and Wraith, you lower your expectations already with the
Perfect Sniper kicked this game's ass by like a mile, it looks like to me. I don't know.
For $15. The problem is right off the bat, you're like, no Sin Studio game so far has been worth $15. Wraith would have been a fun little $5 game. Perfect Sniper would have been a fun little $5 game. Those were 10 and 15 respectively. This was $15, and again, at best, it should have been $5, and even that would have been too much, because here's the thing. Man, it's just 2 big maps, and they give you 10 minutes to kill as many bad guys as you can. You can either play with a team of AI or by yourself against AI, but these guys can kill you from like a half mile away. They're super crazy, over the top accurate. So like the number of times you die, and you're like, you look all around. Every single time I died, I checked my gameplay footage. It's just me going, huh? who killed me? And then just before the screen fades out, I see this little tiny dude all the way off in the distance. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You killed me? I was like, show me your sniper rifle. You don't have one, you fucking motherfucker. so, right? Just using like fucking machine guns from a half mile away, being like just picking me off, headshots left and right. And then the worst part of that is you respawn in a spawn point with people all around you all the time, and you're always vulnerable before you. So like I die every single time I died 7 more times, and every time I'd respawn, I'd have to just like hit the run button and try to like get out of the way as fast as possible, and I still died all the time. So even taking this game as like for what it is, and ignoring all the stuff it doesn't have, it's still fucking broken, and it pisses me off because I could have actually had fun for a couple hours just running around killing dudes because the aim controller tracks perfectly, and it's just, I don't know, I like shooting stuff. But
and the environments,
do that.
like you said in the review, and I saw in the streams from people, the environments are nice and big and kind of varied. Like there's more depth to the environments. You can go in all the buildings and stuff. You can drive the car around. Totally. It's just like there's no enemies, or there's very few. And when you do see one, they've already shot you twice and you're dead, like you said. Yeah. So it just seems like there's so many things that need to be tweaked to make it even passable.
Yeah.
As
it
a
needs to be $5.
Experience.
Even if it worked, it should be $5.
But even for $5, people's time is worth money. Yeah. And I think $5, even like for this game in its current state, is too much. It should not be.
Here without Parole, we value your time just as much as we value your money.
Well, this is the thing. So playing this was not like playing a game. This, to me, was like testing a game. And that's a weird thing to be a product that I pay $15 to test a broken ass game that I like, that's probably not even going to get fixed like very much. But the weird thing is that, so somebody recently asked us on Viewer Takeover, they were like, which you can watch every Tuesday and it filmed every Monday night, whatever you say. No, but somebody asked us, do bad VR games hurt the platform? And we were like, no, there's, as long as there's good games. I completely take that back after playing this game. Yes, bad VR games, especially in this state, absolutely hurt the platform, because everybody wants a modern military shooter right now that uses the aim controller, that feels good, has great mechanics. Most people love Firewall, but 350 hours later, I'm getting kind of tired of it. Like, I need something else. And I love Firewall, but it's like, I can't spend the rest of my life playing Firewall. I need other variations, team deathmatch and stuff like that. Yeah. I completely retract my statement from that Viewer Takeover and say, yes, these kinds of games do hurt the platform, because imagine you just picked up a PSVR.
I was just thinking that.
And you're so excited. You're like, oh, Warzone, what's this? People don't know any better. Most people don't know any better. They don't watch YouTube. They're not in our Discord. Like
IGN didn't say shit about Warzone. They don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I don't think anyone would know.
I want to amend that statement. I want to say uneducated gamers who buy crap are gonna hurt the platform, right? Because that's it's always been the case since day one. Like LJN games on NES, even before that, like shitty games on Atari 2600. There's always been crappy games for every single system, and if that's the first thing you play, you go, man, this thing's fucking garbage. Why did I buy this? Right. So it's a call to action for gamers and people who are buying games and spending their hard-earned money to actually do the extra step, type in, PSVR review Warzone and watch a 2-minute video and say, oh, this game sucks. I'm not going to waste my money. Like, take the extra second and educate yourself. That's what bothers me. I hate when people like complain about shit. I'm like, just watch a review. You
Yeah,
know?
I think I will say I think we're preaching to the choir a little bit here
of
because
course.
everybody in the chat watching us right now already
They all
does
know.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing I want to mention though, Geisen said Warzone trailer is very deceiving, and during the award show, I saw that
was
trailer for
probably
the first
best
time,
looking trailer.
and
Yeah,
I
it's
was
a good
like,
looking trailer.
"This
One of 'em.
looks
Yeah.
fun,"
One of 'em.
and it's coming out next week. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then we already got some pushback in the chat saying, "No, this game sucks on PC. You shouldn't be excited."
But the trailer.
It was so misleading. It looked like a little janky. Graphics weren't that great, but it looked like there was some gameplay in it that didn't suck or irritate people.
Right.
And that's not true. It's just not true. I don't know, man. It's a pile of garbage.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching the trailer now, and other than some interesting camera angles and some obvious CG of like dudes jumping
Right.
off roofs and stuff, which you can't do in the game.
Yeah.
There's not a lot here that isn't from the game. People were saying that it's misleading because it shows people talking in a lobby and stuff, but this trailer was from the award show. This was the first time they showed off PSVR footage, and so as far as I know, they never misled people as far as the multiplayer goes.
I think they
PSVR.
duped us because they made it look good.
I mean, but that's what trailers are supposed to do, though, right?
I know, but
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that this is like old hat. We shouldn't be surprised about when a bad game comes out. You know, it sucks when a bad game comes out, but we shouldn't be surprised.
I think they should pay a lot of money. All the sales should go to the guy who made the trailer, and everyone else should be fired.
Dude, Sin Studio is like one person.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm sure Alec made the game and he made the trailer. So,
the fact that you know his first name makes me feel bad that we're talking so much shit. But yeah, it's deserved. This game sucks, man. Fix it.
it's
Make
unfortunate.
it better
It's
somehow.
unfortunate. I think with a few patches, it could be playable, but then the price needs to come down to $5, and then we go, okay, well, this is another Sin Studio budget title that's fun for a couple hours, and then you'll never play again.
Yeah.
There are two things in this game that actually work, and that's holding the guns in your hand, and actually looking down the sights and stuff like that. That actually works just fine. I was able to get dudes that were like way on the far side of a hill and stuff like that. But of course, I had to be like really quick because if they could see, God forbid, they see my shoulder for 3 seconds because it goes and then you're dead. So I mean, I don't even know how I survived like I did. But the other thing is driving the car. Driving the car is a really cool mechanic. It's always fun in VR to drive around. But that's it, man. And like, it's just everything else about it is just broken. It's like I said, it's not, you don't play this game, you test it. And like the problem is I have a hard time believing it's even going to get any updates or anything. Like, I think it's just, if it does, it's not going to be anything significant. It's certainly, there's no way it's going to get multiplayer if it doesn't even run on PC. Remember how long it took Racket Fury to get the multiplayer?
Right. For two people
Racket
just
Fury
standing
did
around
a
the ping
good
pong
job,
table.
though. Racket
Right,
Fury
right.
killed
Still,
it with that update.
It was one room
Right.
with two people standing around a table. It's like,
Yeah.
it would take way more work to get 8
Right,
people
to get
running
this-
around a gigantic map.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. But even without multiplayer, I mean, there's some basic stuff you could change. Adjust the number of enemies, reduce their accuracy and their damage.
Yeah.
Give you a longer time to kill. Don't let them stand at a spawn point. Just don't let them stand at a fucking spawn point.
Yeah.
Like, this is basic. I feel like, have you ever thought about what makes a game good if you made this game? Like, there's some basic fucking stuff that if you played it for 5 minutes of your own game, you should realize this stuff. If I was the one developing this and somebody tested this, I would be like, oh, dude, you're absolutely right.
That's the problem, man.
I fucked it up.
Yeah.
I got to fix it, and then I'll release it.
That's the problem.
That's-
How the hell did Sony let this one go by? Because
Well,
I
what somebody said earlier, the QA process is only responsible for the technical side of the game, not the quality.
Always.
So they don't care. I mean, if the game sucks, that's not on them.
The reason we don't have multiplayer in this game is because of Sony's QA. It couldn't pass QA with the multiplayer, so they stripped it out. And so instead of saying, oh, it's coming eventually, or or delaying it, they just said, well, we're just taking it out because apparently it's not worth their time. And that's
the only thing that could have redeemed the game, honestly. If there was 4-on-4 multiplayer in these maps, it might be fun.
Dude, Honor and Duty was a mess when it first. Honor and Duty Arcade Edition. It had
I
a lot
hated
of
it.
issues.
I hated it.
Oh, I loved it, but it still had a lot of issues. But it was so much fun because it was like this great proof of concept, and like it was Reggie, so within like a day or two it was fixed. But
Well, yeah, he's patched the hell out of it.
But yeah, it's okay for games to release like in certain states. This to me is just shocking because this is a whole new level of like I've taken so much pride in how many games Sony lets through, but then like, because you hear all the time Steam has like 1 million VR games, but most of them are like really bad. Yeah. And I'm like, thank God I don't have to deal with that. This was a slip up on Sony letting this game through because now it's like I am like so cautious about the next one. When Bravo Team incident, like this makes Bravo Team look like an okay game.
We're treading dangerous territory here.
Yeah. No, but literally, comparatively, it's much worse. This is like 10 times worse than Bravo Team. I'll agree with that.
10 times. And 3 years down the line, Will was playing Rush of Blood yesterday, and it was like this game came out 3 years ago. Yeah. 3 years ago, Rush
one of the best games anybody has ever made for the platform. It's so
my God. Good. 3 years into this, I do not accept this crap anymore. Like, the first 2 years is like, okay, there's still so much stuff. It's new gameplay. This was like one of the biggest cash grab attempts I've ever seen, and it's just freaking disappointing, man. It's really disappointing. I'm really mad about it.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm liking, and I think the chat is liking this fiery AJ, this new corner you've turned where you're just like, fucking don't give us these stupid games. Fucking tearing them a new one. They know because you're usually pretty nice about this stuff. You usually give it the benefit of the doubt. So it's really cool to see this, like, I'm fed up and I'm not going to take it anymore. Like,
there's always something I see in a game. I'm like, okay, I know, like, people don't like this, which is fine, but I know why this is this way. And this has this redeeming factor. Fuck that. This game fucking sucks. This game is crap. And like I said, I'm disappointed in the game being released, and that's on Sony too. And like I said, you're going to, especially with all this cool stuff coming out, and we're getting games delayed and stuff. Like, what the hell? It's horseshit, man. Like, I am pissed off. I am very pissed off because I really do want a modern shooter too. And I'm really usually nice about these things. This is garbage.
To kind of like piggyback on your rant, I do want to backpedal a little bit and say that I'm always on the side of the consumer. Obviously, I review video games for a living. I review PSVR games for a living. And as much as I'm like, why the hell are people surprised that bad games are coming out? What? The last thing I want to do, is make it sound like we deserve bad games or that people deserve to get fucked if they don't do their research. I'm always on the side of the consumer, right? I'm just saying that this is not a new trend. This is something that we've been dealing with since the beginning of video game history. But I just want to remind everybody that bad games are bad games, and I don't blame Sony. And Sony certification is not to prevent this kind of stuff, but I do blame Sin Studio. There's no excuse for this whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, any online marketplace, Steam, especially lately, like the Switch online store. There are some awesome indie games being released there, but there is a ton of trash. It's a lot of junk, like $2 games, $5 games that are. Well, this was not priced accordingly, so yeah. But there's so much junk that people are releasing.
Yeah.
That it's not a new trend, but it just sucks to see it when it's this expensive and people get excited from a trailer and buy it and then are like, what? Yeah, why isn't there a refund process?
And then they go sell their PSVR. That's what pisses me off, man. Like I've worked so hard to defend this thing.
Yeah.
When like saying people like, there's so many great games, like even the smaller games like Prada. Yeah, it's got some broken things, but trust me, like there's still tons to like about it. And I worked really hard to show people that. And then now it's like, something like this comes along. If it wasn't 3 years in, this is the anniversary of PSVR. The anniversary was what, 4 days ago or 3 days ago?
Yeah, 4 days ago.
4 days ago. I can't see my date. But yeah, this is like insulting. Like we didn't get like any big releases. We didn't get like a whole lot, and you're gonna give us this? Like at least the sales are going on. The sales are the redeeming factor right now. But yeah, I just no. It's inexcusable.
This is really interesting, actually. We got a chat comment from Star Centurion who says, "Don't know if anyone will read this. We are reading it." So he said, "But I helped beta test Warzone VR for PC. I kind of saw the red flags, so I jumped out early. I was hoping they'd fix it, but apparently not. So we basically paid money to do the same thing that he did, assumingly for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently he probably
This
got to
was
play
a
with other
product.
people. We didn't even get to do that.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, even Darkness Roller Coaster, like I had some fun with it. Like I'm like, oh, there's a game here. The game's just broken.
But
like,
you were their head beta tester, even though you paid money for the fucking game, right?
Sort of, yeah, I think
kept
so.
giving them feedback the whole time,
Maybe, but
and they fixed it.
But Zaylan
To a
Maru
degree.
says way worse than Bravo Team. Way worse.
And dude, we're gonna see so much more of this. The bigger PlayStation VR gets, the more shovelware, the more crap we're gonna start seeing on the store. So just be prepared, everyone. I feel like there are right now like maybe 10 standout titles that are so bad that they're worth mentioning. And that's, there's more than that, but there's like some really fucking big pieces of garbage out there.
Wild Turkey Hunter.
No, I mean, there's a lot.
We could get into. We've talked about this before on the channel, so
yeah, we'll get that
skim
list
over it.
made eventually. But man, like the bigger this gets, and the longer PSVR is out, and the more accessible this becomes to developers, the more of this we're going to see. The more stuff that gets ported over from Oculus and Vive, we're just going to see more and more shovelware and more garbage. So I mean, get prepared. This is not the end of the shovelware. So everyone keep an eye out, man, and like make sure you do your research before you start spending money, because $15 is a lot of money to spend for this.
Apparently they're letting anything through, so gotta be careful.
I also want to give a
Anything but
quick shout out
multiplayer.
in the chat to Preacher Plays. He's on fire tonight with these zingers. He's knocking this game down with all kinds of jokes. First, he says there's 7 deadly sins, so we've got at least 4 more titles. And then he also said, little known fact: the desert map in Warzone is the ET landfill. You guys know about the ET landfill, yeah?
Nice.
Oh my god, good ones, Preach.
Too good. Love
Thanks
Preach.
for hanging out, man.
But
I'm ready to
Warzone-
move on from this game. Don't buy it. Don't even get it for free. Don't use key. It's not worth your time, man. It's not worth your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if
I did
you're
a
still
stream on
curious,
it,
go
but
watch my review.
Yeah.
Go watch his.
There's a
stream.
private stream in our Discord. There's a review. Brian has one, and then I've got a private stream because I was like, I don't want anybody to know this game exists. so I did an unlisted stream, and it's in our Discord. You can check it out. I actually had some fun, but it's like because it's contained and it's quarantined in there, so it's safe and won't get out and kill everybody. So
It's like this game's like Ebola, basically. It's what we're
it
saying.
really is. It's a virus.
Is Ebola even fun when it's contained?
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's not.
It's like the
Neither.
containment center in the basement of the Ghostbusters headquarters. You got all the ghosts flying around in there, and it's real cool because they're all contained. I don't know.
Yep.
But that's not.
That top 5 worst is coming soon.
It better be.
Okay.
So-
Jesus, after talking about Warzone, I'm going to take my second shot. This one's Fireball. A lot of people said Fireball.
What were you saying,
before,
Brian?
so-
I'm sorry.
But Warzone isn't the only game that came out this week. I know it came out last week in the UK and European territories, but this week we also got Wands VR.
This one's not going to make Brian feel any better.
It's much better than Warzone, I'll say that. I mean, it's not a great game, but
in comparison, yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
ugh.
It came
Let me just
from
get
Oculus.
this.
Okay, go.
Let me get 2 things off my chest real quick. Wands has node teleportation, PvP, and click turning, and that's all I want to say.
Oh, those are both things?
Node-
I lost count
node-
in the middle.
The main thing is node teleportation,
Yep.
PvP, meaning that it's a PvP game where you're limited to teleportation, but you can't actually teleport wherever you want to. You have to teleport where it tells you to.
You know, I know the origins of this game, so I see why that is. And it's kind of hard once you've had a game on so many platforms to just be like, oh, we're changing the entire locomotion system, we're changing everything, because that makes the game unbalanced if you're used to developing in a certain way. So if people don't know, this game has been around for a long time. It was on Samsung Gear VR. It was on Oculus Go. I saw it like when I first got my Oculus Go. I was like, oh, what is this Wands thing? And I was surprised that they still bothered bringing it to PSVR at this point. And I think it's $20, right?
Yeah.
That's a high
$20.
price point for what it is. But there is some customizable, wand stuff that's kind of cool. As far as spell casting, it's probably the least interesting of the wizard games we have. And but it does have the PvP. So I only got to try AI opponents, which was incredibly boring. They're so stupid and slow. They just stand there and don't do anything. But the levels look okay. The graphics are fine. They're fairly polished.
Graphics are beautiful, actually. Graphics
Yeah.
are great. I thought the level designs look really good.
Yeah, there's like one I was playing where halfway through this giant skull started like creeping through like the lava thing, and he was just like hanging out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool. That's a nice feature. And I think if it had come out near launch or like closer to when it came out, on Oculus Go and all that other stuff, maybe we would have had more fun with it. But it feels very dated now to release a game that still has the same mechanics from even Samsung Gear VR, like on a PSVR. So I don't know.
Yeah,
what do you think, Brian?
My feelings are is that it would have felt dated even at the launch of VR, or the launch of PSVR, because
fair.
It's so. I do agree with you guys. I think the graphics are pretty awesome, especially the environments. I think that there's certain levels. Obviously, you talked about the skeleton, but then one that always got to me was you're in this gigantic train station, and then these trains will pull in and actually like block your view of the other opponent, and so you got to time your attacks well at that point. And then there's even one that sort of like descends further and further into this gigantic cave as like these winds come in, like these like poisonous winds, and you have to kind of keep like moving the battle further and further inside the cave, and then parts of the cave start shutting off. But it seems like all the environmental stuff like that is the most interesting part of it, because the PvP stuff, the 1v1, is really just boring. I played for 4 hours straight the other night. I played against some really, really good people online. I played against a bunch of lame AI. I played against AJ for a while. And I will tell you, from start to finish, 4 hours in, never had a single moment of fun. I was like, this is just fucking boring. I'm going to teleport, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to teleport, I'm going to shoot. Oh, now you're in a cage, and now, I'm going to shoot. And I started unlocking wands, which are all cosmetic. You start unlocking characters, which are all cosmetic. You start unlocking spells, which that's the only thing that changes anything, but you can buy any spell at any level. So progressing through the levels doesn't actually make you stronger in any way.
What that makes me think is they're all sort of balanced equally. It's just a preference thing, which is not exactly the same as cosmetic, but it is sort of like if it's going to kill the guy the same amount as the thing you had before.
Yeah,
this is the funny part about this game is it has this huge, like, it actually has some kind of deep customization when it comes to, you have different spells you can choose from. Some are just like throwing fire, throwing electricity, and then some are like cloning yourself. So you can actually like make someone think that, it's like an illusion or whatever. Their attention goes over there. Yep. You can put a cage around them and stuff. There's all these cool spells, but the problem is for what you use it for is crap. Like it's a great looking game, but and there's like this kind of cool customization. The character models that you can unlock and stuff look awesome. But then it's like, for what? Like, what's the point? It's like somebody spent all their effort making the menu really good, and there's like no game. I mean, there is a game, but it's not good. Like the no teleportation. It's like so limited. I just can't stand it, man. This is something I'd expect 3 years ago. This is not something I'd expect today. It's another one of these situations.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed that it took them this long to do it. I don't know. It's been out on Oculus Go forever. And if it was on Samsung Gear, it was probably out already before the PSVR even launched. You know what I mean? Like, so what's the point in bringing it now? I don't understand. It does have name recognition.
Well, this is the funny part, Dave. This is the funny part. Apparently, they had tons of demand to bring it to PSVR, is what they posted on Reddit. And I'm like, who? What? Who?
Well, I will tell you,
I don't know about that.
The length of time I waited for an actual opponent to show up into a game for a 1v1 game that should be real fast, because it's cross-platform, first of all, cross-platform play. So anyone with an Oculus, anyone mobile, anyone PC, we're all playing together. And I'll tell you, I waited 10 minutes to get one match.
God.
So no one's actually playing this. So I can't imagine there was any demand to get it to PlayStation VR. It's just, and for $20, man, this should have been a $10 game at most.
And it's nowhere near that expensive on any other platform, but they didn't add any functionality for PSVR other than, obviously, compared to Go, you have 2 motion-tracked hands and 6 degrees of freedom. But, like, that's not enough to charge, like, 4 times as much as you're charging on other platforms, or twice as much. It's not a $20 game anywhere else. So it's stupid that it costs that much.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is, like, I think this kind of game could have been done well if you made it a little bit more like, and this is going to be controversial, but like Telefrag. where it's fast paced. You move around, you're running, you're teleporting to different areas and stuff.
The gameplay of Telefrag was fine. The gameplay of Telefrag wasn't the problem. The problem is, aside from the gameplay, it's like it doesn't get deeper. Like,
that's what I'm saying. If you took Telefrag into this and rebuilt it with that kind of mindset, it could be fun. It could be actually a pretty good game, and people might play it.
The problem is the control mapping. Look, the moves are limited. We all know that. There are some limitations for it. They're not that limited though. This is like straight, like if you've ever seen like the old mobile, like the very first VR, where like it's like a controller that has like 3 buttons. Like the button mapping is mapped the same way, as if there's like nothing to work with here. And it's just like, how did you miss all the other buttons and all the other things options you could make with this, and the freedom? There's no freedom. You're so limited to just a few button presses that you can do, and it's just like teleport. Like Bryan, remember I was spamming you with the acid?
Yep.
Like I'm like, well, I found the strategy to beat you or whatever.
Right.
I just teleport, press a button. Teleport, press a button. Teleport.
And I was
getting
frustrated because you were able to do that, and the audio cues were so limited in this game. You never hear like a because somebody teleported behind you. You never hear a because you're about to get engulfed in
no audio cues.
acid fog or whatever the fuck it's called. The audio cues were so limited. I was just like, what am I supposed to be relying on here to play this game? Nothing about it seemed to work for me. I just wasn't having any fun. So that's all.
If you played it for 4 hours and had no fun against people, I'm gonna say for $20, that's a hard pass for anybody listening now.
I'm really sorry, Bryan. I kind of bailed on Bryan. Bryan lasted longer than I did. I an hour, and I was like, I can't play this anymore. I mean, I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I just can't. And I realized, I've wasted $35 this week, but it doesn't matter. Like, as long as I save you guys from buying it, it's fine for me. Plus, I'm not even afraid to overpay for games that I really enjoy. I paid $60 launch day for Ace Combat 7. That's like one of the most memorable experiences ever. I don't care.
You get in there with the HOTAS.
But does it make me mad to like overpay for something that's awful like this? Like and I would generally like, I'm not a big Wizard fantasy guy, but I would love I can totally embrace the fact that it's like Wizard duels and stuff like that. No problem with that. But it was just like, it just wasn't good from a game mechanics. I stressed gameplay so much, and it just wasn't there, man.
Yeah, not a fan.
All right. Like I would be much happier spending $40 at launch for Archangel than I would be spending $20 at launch for this game. And Archangel, I said to everybody, this is overpriced. It's too expensive, but the game is good. It's a good game. And so there's something there. Maybe wait for a sale, but like even on sale, I feel like, I don't know. It'd have to be a deep sale for me to recommend somebody buying it.
Oh, this? Yeah, it'd have to
for
be
this for Wands. Yeah,
I don't recommend
Wands
people buy it. I just don't.
I don't think so either.
Right? There are better PvP games out there, and like more exciting and more thrilling, more customizable, more interesting. This just doesn't do it, man. It doesn't do it on any level.
Just ask this, man. Be like, hey, I like the look of Wands, but you guys said it's a bad game. What's the alternative? And trust me, we'll find you an alternative. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
even if it's Saber.
If there's so much demand for this game, it'll be fun. I wish some other games had more demand. Let's put it that way. Like,
I think Kev thinks you're hulking out, AJ. He said AJ's turning green to everybody stand back.
I'm so I was fine until we started talking, and then I started remembering everything, and now I'm like really pissed off.
I feel like this is the most infuriating week of games we've had in a while. Because usually we discuss some stuff where we kind of liked it, or like at least it was decent or whatever. Both of these games we just ended up tearing a whole new second and third asshole.
I mean, like I said, at a time when we had some expectations, we thought we'd have Aspire 1 right now. We thought, there are still plenty of things that I'm looking forward to and excited about, but I could use some games right now. And, one of the next things I want to talk about is some of the games we've been playing, some of the stuff I've picked up from the sale going on in both the UK and the US. And this only gets worse. I'm about to be even more mad.
Really? Wait, can I ask you before that? Yeah. Did you end up getting Horror Sense, and have you tried it?
Oh no, not yet.
I really wanted to hear your impressions on Horror Sense.
I know, me too. But
Okay.
I'll get there.
All right, next week.
But yeah, Wands, don't buy it.
Yeah, don't buy anything. Just like stop buying stuff, okay?
Just go to the state. Stop buying stuff.
Like check the channel out. Search for reviews. If you don't find something, just send me an email withoutparole@gmail.com. Say, Brian, rate this game on a scale from 1 to 10, and I'll respond with just a number. Because that's about as much as I can handle as far as like personal correspondence go. But I will happily rate any single game for you to save you money or to convince you to buy something good.
Or ask us in the Discord. Great
Halloween join the
sale,
Discord. Seriously, join the Discord.
You know, there's so many people that don't like horror games, so that's kind of shitty because that's like kind of your best bet right now are the horror games on sale. Home Sweet Home and Persistence especially.
Real quick before we move on. Star Centurion in the chat says, the second you experience Rift/Rift S/Quest or Steam VR tracking, you can't go back. The PSVR tracking can't compare. I disagree. I
disagree too.
I have my Quest and it's fine, but like I don't think it's like, oh my god, this is like light years beyond the Move controllers. It's fine.
It's true.
It's not amazing.
There's still a limited range in which you can track because it's cameras. What are you going to do if you move outside the camera range? That's it. And with Beat Saber, I really liked it on Quest initially because I could get custom songs, but I had to readjust myself to the tracking because there were times when on PSVR, the swing that I made would have registered, and on Quest, it didn't. So I think a lot of it is like on a game-by-game basis, too, because you can say, oh, it's got inside-out tracking that's objectively better. It isn't always. It depends. Yeah. So, because I've played a shitload of Quest games, and it's not really always perfect by any means.
No, I think it's a good step in the right direction. Don't get me wrong.
It is, yeah.
Right? But
and I'm assuming Sony will take that for PSVR too. Like all the patents say that they will, and I assume they will. Like that's the wave of the future, inside-out tracking, I think.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to set up cameras all over the place. Right.
All right, guys. I don't want to drag this out too much longer. I know we have a few more things to talk about, but you guys need to get packed.
I want to see AJ rage out about all this stuff that he's about to talk about, but I do need to get packed. You're right.
You guys got to get packed and get to an airport in early morning, so you can get here on time tomorrow. So let's briefly go through the games that AJ's been playing on this illustrious sale, and let's hear him Hulk out and turn green. I want to see him like tear through the clothing, just.
Yeah. Ghostbusters VR was on sale for $6.50. This game, when it came out, everybody said, "Don't buy it, don't buy it." It's $7 for a 2-minute experience, $7 for another 2-minute experience. It was like $14. So now it was on sale for $6.50. I'm like, dude, it's Ghostbusters. I cannot resist any longer, and I gave in. And do not make the same mistake.
Bad call, dude.
Even at $6.50, this 20-30 minute experience, whatever at most, was god awful. And I'm like, oh my god, like this should have been free. And even at free, it would have been like, well, at least it was free. That's
it would have been like the first Spider-Man VR experience that was free, not the second Spider-Man VR experience that was free.
Right. Where it's like you can't really get that mad about it. But good God, I mean, I was really excited to hold the proton pack and the proton wand and everything, shoot ghosts and whatnot. But it was really bad. It bugged out. I don't know if you know, but the first 5 minutes I play this thing, it bugs out. You're supposed to hold a hot dog and then Slimer pops out of the thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? And I'm teleporting around because there's no smooth movement, of course. So like I'm teleporting around. And Slimer's not coming out of the thing. And I sat there for like 15 minutes, just like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm messing with everything. It's telling me to do everything. So I quit the game and I go start from the fire or the showdown, which is like basically a wave shooter. And, Brian, we talked about this a little bit where, wave shooters we know are not great, but they can be fun. Blasters of the Universe.
Shooty Fruity.
Yeah. Brookhaven. Some, it's part of Shooty Fruity. A lot of people like.
Although I will say, I think Blasters of the Universe is less of a wave shooter and more of like a shoot 'em up that you use your face for.
It's a bullet hell.
It's a bullet hell shmup, which is a different thing than a wave shooter. And I love that we have some of those on VR. That's a great game if anybody hasn't picked it up yet. Blasters.
Please, someone explain to me when they changed Ghostbusters that you shoot them with the proton pack and they just like explode.
Right.
When did this happen? Brian
I thought
and
you were
were
supposed to
actually
put him in a
talking
little.
about- yes, it
little
gives
guy.
you
The trap,
it even
man, the
gives
ghost
you
trap.
the trap.
Yeah,
you're
that's the
supposed
fun
to
part.
and you're supposed to like weaken them and then put them in the trap. What makes me so mad is that I don't know if you guys played. Did you guys play the Ghostbusters video game
Yeah.
on PS3?
It's great.
I really want to play the remaster of it. I've never played the original.
It was so good. It was like
I've heard.
It was like it was really really good. It lets you be the new recruit, and it had all the original voices, everything.
I'm gonna buy that shit. It's only $30.
This was based on the new Ghostbusters, which came out. And it's like a clear just promotion for that thing. And like I said, that wouldn't have been bad if it was free, but it was bad. And
Yeah, it's bad.
You know, it's just really awful. And don't buy it. It's not even worth the $6.50. The only thing it's worth is free. And like, I don't want you to stain your love for Ghostbusters, so don't even play it. Don't.
I want to butt in because.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Fuck you! This is my tree world.
Nobody tipped,
This is my
but somebody
tree
asked me
play.
to bring out the tree guy
Okay.
plush, and it's been a while since I brought it out, so
That's
I just
fair.
figured I would oblige.
The
this
beginning
for
of
you,
the
a
show was
broken
very
opus.
tip heavy, so we
And then we haven't got any tips in like an hour and a half
totally understandable.
because we're just raging out.
Just raging. Like people are like, oh, they're really pissed off.
I'm so fucking pissed, man.
So
Ghostbusters.
here's the thing: the first, I thought this comes in 2 episodes, and I thought the first episode was actually kind of well done. Again, for something that would be like a free experience, it was sort of well done. Like the firehouse looked really cool. You know, they had Ecto 1. That's the name of the car, right? Sitting there in the garage.
Yeah.
You actually do capture a ghost the proper way with the proton pack. You put together the proton pack, get the ghost, you throw the trap out, you get it.
And then
It's over.
It's over.
Right. But
Yeah.
then all of episode 2 is totally just that wave shooter with like the stupid shooting. I don't think the first part is great, but for Ghostbusters fans, if you can get it free or for $1 or $2, I mean, it's 5 minutes and it's kind of cool. But yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think, I mean, just know that you risk putting a bad taste in your mouth because of your love for Ghostbusters and to see how tainted it has become.
Right.
But, you know, it like I said, I wish the experience was just sit there and just hold the proton pack and just like, I don't know.
I just wish it was free, honestly. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
if you can do it for Spider-Man, fucking do it for Ghostbusters. I
And
don't know.
Spider-Man the graphics were actually decent. Didn't look bad or anything like that. Like Slimer looked awesome actually, but it's just like, wow. Like it's just, I
just don't-
really felt
I don't know who would be
bad.
satisfied with a thing like that.
No,
Who
I
in the
felt
world,
really-
even the biggest Ghostbusters fan, you'd be like, "Ooh, I got one injection of fandom high. You know, like I got to see
Yeah.
Ecto 1 in person. I got to use the proton pack, and then it's over immediately, and you're just like, well, for lack of a better word,
I
like
didn't even think it was that good, man. I tried.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know. Did you guys have any problem throwing the thing, or was that just my setup that was having issues?
That's fine.
Like when yours was fine. Okay,
Yeah.
because most games I don't have problems with, but this one I tried to throw it and it was like plump, and then like I picked it up and threw it again and it was like plump, went straight down.
Yeah, I did
I
have
was
the
like-
I did have the Slimer problem at the beginning though when you pulled up the hot dog thing. That happened on the second time I tried it, but not the first time I tried it, which is
A game-breaking bug in a 5-minute.
yeah, man, that's fucking insane. That you
no.
paid money for. Like, I don't know, man.
yeah, $7 at launch or $8 at launch, whatever it was ludicrous. But anyway, AJ, what else did you play this week that you really hated? Or or what else did you play this week? I don't want to limit your discussion here.
Well, no, I'm not done yet. So I got a bunch of stuff from the UK store. I've told you a million times I'm a Frogger fan. I played Vrog. And like I was like, okay,
don't play Frog.
I
What the
was
fuck
like,
is wrong
it's
with you? Why would you play
$2.
Frog?
This is your own
Because-
fault. This is your own
You gotta-
fault.
You must have a mental condition, bro. Why did you play Vrog? What's fucking wrong with you?
Dude, I was like, I love Frogger. Frogger's my jam. And I was like,
And?
this is the closest thing. I knew it wasn't gonna be this is the thing. I knew it wasn't gonna be Frogger going in. Like I was like, this is gonna suck. And I was still like more disappointed than I thought I would. Like the graphics were actually pretty good, but like the game is just so boring. You jump around to lily pad, and you just look at flies and it eats them. And that's it. That's the game. How many flies can you jump around and look at something and then just look at them and eat them? And that's like, how many of that can you do in like 5 minutes or whatever?
And
then
2 minutes in, you're already bored.
you're really bored. You're really
Yeah.
bored. You realize that like, you know, oh, you can keep going. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to keep going.
No.
Like I'm like, this is the game. Like, no way.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting any more time with this.
This is one of the few games that I actually got a review code for, and I was just like, I'm still not playing that fucking shit. It's free, and I'm not going to waste my time. Like, I've seen it, not interested. Jesus Christ. Like, let's move on.
Dude, Frog, of all things, I mean, just another childhood thing, like Ghostbusters just slaughtered with, I don't even know what they were thinking making that game. So I played Kona, which was actually pretty decent.
Kona's a little underrated, a little blurry, a lot blurry.
I don't know about how underrated it is. But
well, we just never talk about it. Is what I'm saying.
Right,
no one ever
right.
talks.
I feel like every time it's on sale, I bring it up.
It's got some good aspects.
I really like Kona.
The feeling of being cold is up there with any other. I mean, like, it really gets that wintry vibe, even though it's blurry. When you're walking around, you start to feel immersed in it, and there's some well done stuff there, and the driving mechanics are awesome. Yeah, really I think in Kona.
It definitely doesn't look very good. It looks like it has like no detail. Like it's like, oh, this is a stove, and it's like a black box. And it's just like, damn, like you couldn't put like any more detail on it. But the only thing I like about it is that there's like some sort of story, and I'm like, I kind of want to know what's going on. Like there's like a mystery around it. There's people in the town that are murdered, and you're going. I watched this awful movie back in the day called Wendigo. It kind of made me want to. It kind of reminded me of that, like, but there's the narrator's really cool, but then it's like you look at the same thing too many times, and it's like, well, Phil didn't like he knew that these boxes were here, blah, blah. And then you look at it again, it's like, well, Phil knew that these boxes were, and this was like a box on the other, and it was like repeating the same thing over and over, and I was like, oh, kill me. But the driving, like you said, was fun. The kind of mystery and like figuring
once you start to see those cool, like creepy, like, why is this person frozen into an ice crystal? Right. Like you're like, okay, something's going on here, and I don't know what it is. Yeah. And they just gave me a shotgun, so let's figure it out. Like that kind of thing. I don't know.
I got to where I have to find the list and the back of his list for the code to unlock the safe, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to begin looking. Like, am I supposed to drive across town? Like, am I supposed to what? Like, so yeah. That's the next part. That there was a guy that I found like woods that was his son, and I'm like, maybe that's him, but I don't even remember how to get back to him.
Actually, that's a big problem because the map is so blurry. I didn't even realize that in the regular game on PS4, the map is crystal clear and it's actually labeled and stuff. And the map in game that you pull up is so blurry that you don't even know where you've been and where you haven't, or which location is which. So it's almost useless.
Yeah, the map. I tried looking at the map. I didn't really get it. Maybe. Yeah, I was driving and I couldn't even see where I currently was on the map. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's definitely some shortcomings. I'm not going to say it's a perfect game, but I think it's got some good stuff going for it.
Yeah, it's usually pretty cheap, and it is a nice long adventure with a very cool story. If you're patient and you don't mind, I think it only has quick turning, and it's very blurry. If you can deal with that, I think it's actually really fun.
Okay, so just a couple more things real quick. I played some more Minotaur Arcade. I love Minotaur Arcade now. Grid Runner, I actually was looking to go up more, and now I'm like addicted to Grid Runner.
Grid Runner is way better. Runner is so good.
It is. There is a difficulty spike at one point, but then it actually brings it back down, and you kind of like, even if the difficulty spike seems a little too high at first, you get adjusted to it, and then you go back, and every time you play this game, you get further and further and further. So I think there's something to that. I think that's by design that it's supposed to do that.
Well, I love with this and Polybius, the way he implemented it is like it's an arcade game that you would usually play in an arcade, putting quarters in, the design of it, at least the way it looks and feels and stuff. But you get to start at the last stage that you died on with however many lives you started the stage with, which is a really, really helpful feature. Like if I got to stage 8, I don't want to start at the beginning again. Right. I want to start at stage 8, and it lets you do that. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. But I still play Goat Up, but I definitely am attached to Grid Runner right now. And that was not the one I was expecting to really enjoy. It reminds me of a lot of the classic arcade games that I really enjoyed. And the gameplay is fantastic. So I don't know why, he said that's been submitted to Sony for certification and stuff. So he's just waiting on it. It's already released in the UK. If it's in the UK, I mean, it's $14.99, but excellent.
Pounds wise.
Yes, pounds. So if it's $14.99 in the US, then I'm like cool with it. If it's more than that, then you just really have to like this genre or really want this kind of game to recommend that, because it's really good. But like, so if it's like $20, it's like
it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
on Steam
it
it's
shouldn't
like
be.
$12 or $13. So like,
Yeah,
I doubt they're going to go further than 15.
And if I know there's a lot of people out there who liked Polybius. I love Polybius. This is more. It's not the same. More of the same, but it's the same mind that created Polybius, and it's suitably weird. It's kind of crazy. It'll like explode your brain at some points with all the colorful shit flying in your face.
Yeah.
And stuff you have to keep track of while you're playing. So it's a good one. I liked Minotaur Arcade.
We said last week it was sort of a mashup of a bunch of old school, like early 80s arcade games.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what came to mind for you, but the three that kept coming to mind for me were like Galaga, Centipede, and Robotron.
And I like it better than any of those games, honestly. From a gameplay perspective, in 2019, it plays quicker, it plays more fun, there's more variation, and the mechanics are kind of interesting because, like, it's not just shooting a line of guys that's coming down the screen. Right. Like, you have to keep track of this guy shooting from the left, and then creating these barriers that you can't get caught on.
Well, and then you get
through, and then it gets started. The stages start getting twisty and weird, and you're like traveling across.
And then you also get these power-ups that start shooting in different directions, and you use that to your advantage. Like, if it starts shooting behind you, then you go to the top of the thing and just shoot everything from. So there's like different strategies with each power-up you get. But yeah, I think it's a really awesome game. I really hope it comes out to the U.S. soon because we freaking need it.
Yeah.
AJ, I'm giving you time to talk about one more game that you played this week.
One more game.
One more game.
I've always said I hate puzzle games. I thought I did, anyways. When I played VR, that changed that for me. After playing Zing, Transpose, Red Matter, Tetris Effect, even, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not puzzle games that I mind. I didn't realize that puzzles had a final boss called escape rooms because I played The Door. I got it for $9.99 in the UK, and holy shit, I don't mind puzzle games anymore. I like puzzle games. I do not like escape room games, and it's not the game's fault. It's just me that doesn't like it. But essentially, this is essentially The Door. Is you take the House of the Dead IP and assets. Take all the weird arcade-like characters. You take the cutscenes with that are scratchy and then have text and stuff and crazy little ghouls. Yes, crazy little ghouls and stuff. And then you make an escape room game out of it. And at first, I was like, "This is really cool." Like, I really love the some of the puzzles and stuff that they have in here, and they make sense. And then there's like these few parts of the game where I was just like. I was like, I don't know. And like, it would give you clues, use these clues to solve the puzzle. But then there's like, if it's a number combination thing, it's like you have to figure out the order of the number combination. And that's what was driving me nuts is the order of things that it wasn't just like this solves this. It was like this solves this, but then you have to do it in a certain order and spin around and hop on one foot and rub your belly and pat your head at the same time. And that's what started driving me nuts. And, Bryan, I would love to hear you, talk a little bit more about it, what you think. But essentially, like, I solved the puzzle. I was like, maybe I'm just really bad at these. I would solve the puzzle. I'd look at the clues and then look back at the puzzle and be like, no, this is just stupid. Like, this is really hard. Like, this doesn't make any sense and doesn't, like, give you a good clue.
You're just a big old dummy, AJ. What can I say?
I do think The Door takes the escape room leniency a little bit too far. Right? There are definitely moments where you're like, oh, that was stupid. Why was that the solution? But I don't think I had the same problems as you in terms of like, oh, these are the four numbers that belong in this lock puzzle, and I think I knew instinctually like which one belonged where because of maybe the order they were, from top to bottom on a page or from left to right or kind of a combination of the two. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played this. The last time I played The Door was for Why We Love PSVR last October, and that was it's been a while. So I don't remember having those issues. There was a huge issue that I spent like 2 hours with in the basement trying to solve one puzzle. And I remember getting out pen and paper and going, this can't be right because they should not forced me to pull out pen and paper.
You had to take off the mask
in VR.
That's a
right?
problem.
I'm going like I'm lifting it up and I'm like writing stuff down. I'm like lifting it back down, lifting it, like taking notes. And then I asked Des, I was like, "Did you need to do that for that puzzle?" And he goes, "Oh no." He goes, it's a code that most people are familiar with. Like this kind of I don't. It's not binary, but it's like some random thing that I was like, okay. I bow down. I say I took the hard way. There is a hard way to solve this puzzle. A code that most
people are familiar with.
A code that most magicians are familiar with.
Yeah, right?
He was saying something like it didn't require pen and paper. Let's just put it that way, and so that way I don't misquote him. You can go back and watch the episode. It's available on Without Parole. Anyway, so it's I don't know. For me, I struggled with one major puzzle, but the rest, and apparently, it's not a struggle for everybody. So I think that kind of goes for a lot of the puzzles in this game. Some are going to be a struggle for some, and some won't be for others. I think at $35 on the North American store, it is ridiculously overpriced.
Criminal.
That is insane.
But I think if you can get it for $10 like AJ did, then I think that's.
I'm not mad. I'm not actually mad with the purchase, because there are lots of the parts I love about the game. It was actually lots of really great surprises, especially at first. The first impression of it, I was like, wow, this is like really cool. And like I said, I love the House of the Dead look that it has. I mean, it has to be some kind of House of the Dead inspired thing. But yeah, I feel like I just really thought that it's like, okay, you give some clues, but then don't give a clue that can throw you off as well. Like, like there's like anti-clues in the game, because there was something I'd look at and I'd be like, oh, this makes sense. And then I'd see like the exact opposite, like that would kind of match with what the puzzle was doing. I'm like, there's offsets. Like there's offsets for the clues. Maybe it's just me overthinking or getting in my own way, which is very possible.
It is easy to overthink this.
Yes, but I really don't feel 100% that's the case, unless that's just everything. But like, yeah, I've played some really complex puzzles. Zing had some mind-melting puzzles. Same with Transpose. Yeah. But it's like, you do them piece by piece, and then they start adding up, and then they start making sense until you solve it. Right. And this was not that case. This was like, okay, you have these numbers, and you have this lock, and then find the combination of these 5 numbers and put them in here, and then figure out, like, so I spent like 45 minutes just swirling numbers around until it unlocked. And I was like, I looked around, I couldn't find anything that told me that was a good indication of the order of the jail cell, where you're pulling the chains on the top. I'm like, how was I supposed to know the order of this? I've stared at everything. So it could be something I was missing, but I don't know. It's like they really make you pay attention to every last single detail in there, for sure.
Yeah, it's, again, I'm not trying to say this is the best example of an escape room game, even on PlayStation VR. That award obviously goes to I Expect You to Die. That is genius by comparison. But if you like your escape rooms a little horror themed, and you've already played the crap out of Dying Reborn, don't hurt me.
I didn't mind Dying Reborn. I'll thank you.
And it's often on sale for like $6 too, which is like it's a low budget escape room, but it's fun. I liked it.
Magic has a good point. He says, "How come the door has a bunch of 18?"
Okay, so you cut out a bunch for me there.
Yeah, totally. But I didn't hear anything.
He says, Magic says, "How come the door has a bunch of doors and 18 floors has 3 floors?"
That is a good question.
How
many chairs were in the room and chair in a room?
There was always a chair in the room.
Okay. One.
Always one.
Yeah.
Yep.
One.
Nailed it. The water, however, was seldom green. Yeah. All right, guys, I think we really got to wrap this up. This is a 2-hour and 20-minute GAMESCAST live, and
we weren't even arguing about a top 20
I feel
or anything.
good. This is therapy.
Oh, God. All right, you guys. Well, we got to get moving, because you guys got to get ready to get on a flight, and I have to clean before you show up. I promised my mom.
Nah.
I saw her this morning. She's like, "You're not going to let them see that." I was like, "No, I need to clean."
I can deal with it. I can deal with it.
Not only the Jeep, so when I pick you guys up, you won't see the mess. Also, I could clean the apartment. Luckily, we're only going to be here to film. We can hang out in the hotel room. That's going to be nice. But
yeah, that'll be cool.
That will be cool. It'd be nice to hang out somewhere other than my apartment for a change. But man, I'm so looking forward to every single GameCat that's coming out for the 2019 GameCat meetup this Saturday at Six Flags New England. Just a reminder, even if you didn't sign up, even if you didn't fill out Desra's form, which I still haven't honestly seen, I apologize.
I didn't either. I was like, yeah, sorry, Des.
Yeah, I think we just get signed up automatically because we're us. I was like, thanks, Des.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fill out paperwork. if you haven't filled out anything, if you didn't decide until just now that you wanted to go, show up. Just show up. I'm going to be there. Well, we're going to be there at noon when the park opens on Saturday, which means I'm going to be dragging you guys. I'm like, get up, let's get in the car, right? and I think Jeremy volunteered to drive us too, so like I don't even have to go anywhere. It's nice. Just
Get
hop in
that
the car.
coffee. Get that coffee brewed bright and early.
You guys going to bring your Switches or Vitas, or what are we going to play on the ride?
I can bring whatever you like. I can bring my Switch. Should I bring my Quest too for the pre-meetup hangout?
Let's talk about this off the air.
Let's talk about that offline.
I'll teach you the most amazing time-wasting guessing game that you've ever seen in your life. It's the greatest for road trips. It can make 9 hours go by in like 4 hours.
Also, Spelunky can do that too. I've definitely just wasted 9 hours straight on Spelunky, and it's still one of my favorite games. All right, you guys, make sure you hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparole.
Games.
Here we go, for $1 or more every single month, because you love us almost as much as we love you. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel right here, Without Parole. Make sure you subscribe to Dave at Dave Station VR and AJ over at PSVR Underground. Make sure you submit your viewer takeover questions. Make sure you join our Discord. The link is in the description. I kid you not. 5 a.m. I'm usually wide awake and talking to whoever's around. If you guys want to hang out, that's a great place to hang out. That's where I'm always at. And I think that does it for another amazing episode of PSVR Gamescast Live. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Cats. We love you all.
Oh yeah. So this thinking game is really the best thing.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to tell us about the thinking game right now?
Yes.
I was going to tell a sad story, but you tell this one.
Oh, Dave, go ahead.
No. It's just a heads up.
Thinking so. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
So this is a heads up. If anybody is like a subscriber to my channel and you see it disappear from YouTube in the next week or so, there is a reason. We've talked about my second channel a few times before, but for some reason, I've started getting copyright strikes over there, and I've got 2 out of the 3 that you need to get suspended. And apparently it affects any related channels. So that would be my Dave Station VR channel as well. So if that goes away, I'm going to be very sad, but it might happen. So we'll just see what happens from there. But I'll always be here with Bryan on Without Parole and AJ. But
David, this is the worst possible time to ask you.
I'm sorry.
For a cool sound effect for a tip.
Oh, I've got one.
This is
Please, man. Why you?
Thank you so much.
Fuck you.
We're gonna get through this, Dave.
Thank you so
We're
much,
gonna get through
Delirium
this.
Drew. His tip reads, it's a Game Cat meetup, folks. Hell to the yeah. Meow. Sorry, Dave. Sorry to hear about your horrible news. I think, but like AJ said, we will all get through this together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure something out if that happens.
I'll give you the key to my channel.
I'll just stream on yours. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're out of here.
The underground.
Have an
all right,
excellent,
later, guys.
excellent night.
Have a good night.
Later, cats.